beneath a velvet sky so deep and dark that it seemed to cradle every star ever born. A gentle hush settled over the fields that lay before the ancient castle of Aveloria. On this night there was no wind, only the faintest pulse of cool air drifting across tall silver grass. Each blade glimmered under the moon, like liquid silk, bending ever so slightly as though bowing to the quiet majesty of the heavens. You find yourself standing at the edge of this vast meadow, breathing in the sweet scent of night-blooming jasmine that drifts from somewhere unseen. And you feel the first threads of stillness weaving through your thoughts. Close your eyes for a moment. Notice how the darkness behind your eyelids sparkles with flecks of blue-white light, reflections of the endless stars above. Let a slow breath pour in through your nose. Feel the coolness gather at the tip of your nostrils, then cascade down the back of your throat, sliding into your chest, widening the rib cage with the lightest of stretches. Hold it there as if you were holding a small glowing lantern inside your heart. Then let the breath flow out in a soft stream, carrying with it the remnants of the day, worries, lists, rushing moments, stray memories that no longer need your attention. On the next inhalation, imagine drawing in moonlight itself, liquid, silvery, soothing. On the exhale, imagine that same moonlight washing through your arms, your legs, down to your fingertips and toes, settling your body into gentle readiness for rest. Now open your eyes once more and allow them to wander across the open field. From where you stand, the meadow stretches toward the horizon, a broad river of pale grass that ripples in slow motion. Fireflies drift above it like tiny wayward stars, blinking in tender patterns that whisper of hidden secrets. Far ahead, so far that it seems like a dream at first, you can just make out the silhouette of Aveloria. Its towers rise from the earth like ink strokes on midnight parchment, their crenellations tracing ancient stories against the sky. A single point of amber light glows near the main gate, a small lantern swaying gently on an iron hook, waiting to guide travelers home. With each soft step you take, the dewy grass brushes your ankles, and little strands of moon-drenched mist swirl around your calves like curious spirits. Your shoes, or perhaps your bare feet, make no sound at all, for the earth here is padded with centuries of fallen petals and velvet moss. You feel as if you could walk forever in this hush, supported by the patient, ancient rhythm of night. Every 20 or 30 paces, you pause, not from fatigue, but from a simple desire to listen, to notice. The field breathes with you, a soft inhalation as a cloud drifts over the moon, a quieter exhalation as the cloud slides away and silver light floods the blades of grass once more. Far overhead, constellations wheel slowly. You recognize Orion, the hunter, though tonight his pose seems peaceful, his bow lowered, his gaze soft. Near him glows Sirius, brilliant and tender, while to the east, faint traces of the Milky Way spill across the sky like powdered crystals. You realize that in this moment, time feels unmeasured. There are no clocks ticking, no distant engines humming, no voices calling for your attention. There is only the faint vibration of starlight and the quiet within your own chest. As you continue, you notice how your shoulders begin to release their habitual tension. They settle, sliding down and back with each exhale, as though the straps of invisible burdens have finally loosened. The muscles behind your neck lengthen, and your head floats a little higher on its axis, as light as a paper lantern lifted by warm air. Your arms swing slowly by your sides, guided by gravity and ease, while your fingers tingle with gentle anticipation of the journey ahead. Every few breaths, a new scent reaches you on the air. First comes the subtle sweetness of late summer heather, then the crisp hint of distant pine, and finally a trace of wood smoke, delicate, comforting, suggesting a hearth burning somewhere within the castle walls. These fragrances mingle with the jasmine, composing a silent nocturnal symphony that plays just for you. Listen now, Out beyond the farthest line of grass, crickets play their nocturne, a tapestry of soft chirps woven into the silence. Their rhythm is unhurried, spacious, leaving room for each note to fade before the next begins. Somewhere to your left, a barn owl lets out a single velvety hoot, a lullaby in minor key, then dips silently through the air, its wings slicing moonlight like watercolor brushes across dark canvas. You sense more than see its flight, and you feel honored to share the night with such graceful company. Walk a little farther, letting the tiny lights of the fireflies drift around your knees. Some hover in front of you, pulsing and bobbing, as if inviting you deeper into the story, while others drift away, disappearing into the tall grass, like fleeting thoughts. You realize that every step forward is also a step inward, toward a quieter part of yourself, toward memories of childhood twilights, when the day's noise surrendered to hush, and possibility filled the space where words fell quiet. Gradually, you notice a gentle shift beneath your feet. The ground becomes smoother, slightly firmer, as though an invisible path has formed to guide you. This path is not marked by stones or fences. Rather, it is shaped by the soft alignment of grass, by the way the dew glistens in a subtle arch. Trusting its guidance, you follow without question, and the path curves almost imperceptibly toward the waiting lantern at the castle gate. With each curve of the trail, the castle grows clearer. You see now that its stones are carved from pale granite, softly reflecting the lunar glow. Vines climb along its walls, their leaves silvered at the edges, as though dipped in moon water. Tall windows, arched like cathedral doorways, reflect the night sky so that it appears as though the heavens live inside the castle as well as above it. And that lantern, oh, that welcoming lantern, flickers with steady amber light, neither bright enough to dazzle nor dim enough to fail, but perfectly measured for guidance. A hush deeper than all hushes settles around you. As you approach, the crickets soften their song. The owl has glided on to other realms. Even the fireflies dim their glow. In this sacred stillness, you pause once more, placing a hand gently over your heart. Feel how quietly it beats, how rhythmically, how kindly. Each beat is like a knock on a familiar door, one you have always known but rarely entered. The door to rest, to renewal, to dream. You breathe, feeling that gentle knocking, and you sense the castle breathing in synchrony, the windows exhaling soft light, the stones inhaling moonbeams. Perhaps you have been here before, in another time, in another dream. Perhaps this place is woven from the threads of stories you loved as a child, stories of lantern-lit journeys, of secret gardens and starlit hall. Or perhaps it is entirely new, a realm created just now by the union of your longing for peace and the universe's endless capacity to provide it. It does not matter which is true, for here truth is a gentle river that flows wherever you need it most. In the distance behind you, life continues. Townspeople rest in their cottages, rivers slip quietly to the sea, mountains keep their timeless vigil, yet none of it presses upon you now. You are held in the embrace of this moonlit field, welcomed by the gentle gaze of the castle beyond. The night asks nothing of you but presence, and in return, it offers release. Let us pause a little longer, long enough to truly savor the luxury of pausing. Feel how your feet tingle, warmed by your own life fire despite the night's cool hush. Feel how your calves relax, muscles unspooling like ribbons beneath soft moonlight. Your thighs soften, your hips loosen, your back lengthens as though space itself is creating a gentler gravity just for you. Your chest, drawing slow breaths, lifts and settles like a lullaby melody. Your neck stretches ever so slightly, your jaw unclenches, the tiny muscles around your eyes release, and your forehead smooths beneath the sweep of nighttime peace. In this state of growing ease, look once more at the lantern. Its light flickers in a patient rhythm, almost like breathing. A subtle brightening, a subtle dimming, a subtle brightening, again. Allow your own inhales and exhales to sync with that rhythm. It is effortless, like two friends strolling side by side, naturally matching pace. You realize that each breath is a step, and each step is a breath, and this journey is as much inside you as it is across the moonlit field.
You begin again, moving closer to the castle, your steps now cushioned by soft moss that appears beneath your feet as if conjured by your desire for comfort. The moss yields slightly, releasing a faint scent of rain-kissed earth. Above, the moon shifts in the sky, sliding behind a feather-thin cloud, dimming the world for a heartbeat before gleaming once more, brighter than before. In that brief dimness, your other senses sharpen. You hear the distant trickle of a small fountain water over stone, soothing and constant. You feel a subtle warmth in the air, perhaps the promise of the hearth that waits inside. You taste a faint sweetness on your tongue, vanilla and clover, a whispered suggestion of the castle's unseen gardens.
And then, there you are. The lantern's glow spills over your hands as you reach out, palm hovering near the iron gate. The gate stands slightly ajar, as though someone or something anticipated your arrival and left it welcomingly open. You pause, feeling the textured iron beneath your fingertips cool and reassuringly solid. On the arch above, ancient runes are carved, unreadable yet strangely familiar, an alphabet of dreams that speaks directly to your bones rather than your mind. But before you step across that threshold, before we enter the courtyard and begin the next chapter, let us honor the moment right here, at the edge where meadow meets legend. Close your eyes once more if you wish. Listen to your breath. It has become even slower now, each inhale like a tide flowing in, each exhale like a tide easing out under soft starlight. Notice how your body floats on these tides, gently rocked, gently cradled. Notice how your mind feels spacious, like the field itself, room enough for stars and stories, and silence together. If any fragment of the waking world remains, a calendar reminder, a half-remembered conversation, a flicker of tomorrow's to-do list, see it now as a single spark that drifts upward, joining the constellations above, where it will wait, quiet and harmless, until morning calls it back. For tonight, you are free of it. Tonight, your only task is to follow moonlight, to trust softness, to yield to peace. When you are ready, you will step through the gate and into the castle's embrace. For now, linger in this threshold, listening to the lantern's gentle hum, sensing the castle breathing just beyond, feeling the meadow's quiet support beneath you. You are welcome. You are unhurried. You are safe. The night deepens, yet you feel brighter within it. The stories ahead shimmer like petals waiting to unfold, each one softer than the last. But those petals will open soon enough. In this moment, simply rest in the yes that surrounds you. Yes to stillness. Yes to wonder. Yes to the promise of dreams soon to bloom. And as the moon rides its slow chariot across the endless sky, you feel the subtle turning of the world below, carrying you ever forward, ever deeper toward the sanctuary of gentle sleep. The lantern's amber glow flickers across the wrought iron gate, drawing your gaze like a lighthouse beacon guiding ships through fog. You stand just outside the threshold, heart steady, breath unhurried, as the soft light paints warm ripples across your hands. Motes of night dust drift through the beam, tiny sparks of gold suspended in air, spiraling lazily before vanishing into moonlit darkness. They seem almost alive, as if offering a quiet invitation. Enter, wander, dream. Take a moment here. Feel the cool iron beneath your fingertips. Smooth, time-worn, its scrollwork curving like vines, frozen in mid-bloom. Each contour carries the memory of countless evenings, countless visitors who once paused as you do now, poised between the hush of fields and the hush of ancient halls. The metal is neither cold nor warm. Instead, it feels like memory itself, neutral, yet resonant. Close your eyes, press your palm gently to the gate, and sense a subtle thrum, a pulse slower than any heartbeat, deeper than any drum. It is the heartbeat of Aveloria, slumbering yet alert, welcoming yet patient. Open your eyes once more, and notice the inscriptions etched along the archway. At first glance, they appear as looping sigils, but if you soften your gaze, they rearrange into words your heart seems to recognize. Enter in peace, leave in light. The letters shimmer faintly, as though illuminated from within by threads of starlight. Reading them, you feel a tender warmth bloom behind your sternum, quiet assurance that you belong here, that the castle has awaited your arrival, not for hours or days, but for seasons, perhaps lifetimes. Beyond the gate, a narrow stone walkway meanders into shadow, framed by high hedges of night-blooming roses. Their petals, tinted silver blue, under the moon, release a fragrance, so gentle it seems to hum. Notes of vanilla, rainwater, and something softly herbal, like chamomile kissed by dawn. Each inhale of this scent drifts deeper into your lungs, eases deeper into your muscles, unfurling any last ribbons of tension woven through your shoulders, your back, your jaw. Exhale, and imagine those ribbons unwinding, floating away on the cool night air like translucent silk scarves. Now, with slow intention, push the gate. It yields without protest, hinges gliding in near silence, as though oiled by centuries of moonlight rather than metal and grease. The lantern above sways slightly, sending ripples of golden light cascading over the courtyard entrance. Step forward and feel the shift beneath your soles. The softness of moss gives way to smooth flagstone, each slab warmed faintly from within, as if the castle keeps a gentle hearth beneath every stone. As you walk, notice how the lantern's glow stretches ahead of you, laying a path of liquid amber over the stones. Follow that path at an unhurried pace. For every 3 or 4 relaxed breaths, allow your eyes to wander. Let curiosity lead but never press. To your right, a delicate fountain murmurs, its water perfectly translucent, catching stray beams of moonlight and scattering them in soft prisms. The droplets fall not with a splash but with a hush, like whispered vowels of an unspoken language. Their rhythm synchronizes with your footsteps, and soon you realize they are counting time for you, allowing your mind to set its clocks aside. On your left stands a low stone bench, carved with images of entwined swans. You sense that weary travelers might once have rested here, listening to the fountain's lullaby before continuing deeper into the estate. Imagine yourself sitting there for a moment. Feel the cool stone cradle your spine, the gentle arch support your shoulders, as if crafted precisely for your shape. Picture placing a hand upon the bench's surface, watching faint moon patterns ripple outward from your touch, then drift away like softly dissipating dreams. Perhaps you linger, perhaps you rise almost immediately. Both choices are perfect. The path ahead remains ready, patient. Let your steps resume. Each footfall lands in harmony with a slow breath. Inhale, step, exhale, step. The stone feels almost buoyant, lifting your foot again as if urging it forward, reminding you that progress can be effortless when guided by trust. And always, just ahead, the lantern's glow escorts you, dancing like a tame firefly, never rushing, always accompanying. A gentle breeze stirs the hedges. Petals loosen, spinning downward in languid spirals that gleam like tiny comets crossing the night. One petal lands on your sleeve, light as a sigh, and you lift it close. Its scent is even purer than the air, like fresh rain on linen. You smile, perhaps only inwardly, and release it, watching it drift once more, catching a current that carries it forward toward the next bend. At that bend, the walkway widens into a circular courtyard. In its center stands a magnificent cedar, older than any legend, its trunk broad and furrowed, its branches reaching skyward like outstretched arms. Lanterns hang from several limbs, their flames encased in crystal globes that glow a soft rose gold rather than amber, casting gentle halos upon the tree's textured bark. Their combined luminescence bathes the courtyard in warmth, creating a sanctuary of light within the greater hush of night. Pause at the cedar's base. Place your hand upon the trunk. The bark is warm, pulsing with subtle life. Perhaps you sense faint vibrations, echoes of sap traveling slow, deliberate paths from root to branch. Lean closer, and you might even hear them. The tree's internal river, quiet yet resolute, a reminder that living things hold worlds of motion within apparent stillness. Rest your forehead against the bark if you wish, letting it support you. Feel how the cedar stands firm, yet offers softness where its ridges cushion your skin. Around the base of this ancient sentinel lies a ring of plush moss, flecked with lavender wildflowers that open only at midnight. Their petals cup droplets of dew, each tiny sphere mirroring constellations above, as though the heavens have split into myriad mirrors, just for your delight. Kneel or sit upon that moss for a moment. It yields under your weight, welcoming as a well-worn pillow, and the dew does not chill you, but cools your skin with delicate kisses, a blessing from the night. While you rest, cast your eyes beyond the cedar. On the far edge of the courtyard stands a small wooden table, upon which rests an ornate compass encased in glass. Its needle glows a pale blue, revolving slowly, yet pointing not north, but toward the grand entry doors of the castle interior. You understand intuitively that this compass measures not direction, but readiness. Its glow says, when your breath feels this steady, you may proceed. Observe your current breath. Is it steady? Let's deepen it gently. Inhale for a leisurely count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, filling the belly, then ribs, then chest. Hold for a soft count of 2. 1, 2, allowing oxygen to gather like moonlight in a chalice. Now exhale for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, emptying slowly, melting tension. Repeat once more, noticing how each exhale lengthens naturally, as though your body is grateful to release what it no longer needs. When you are ready, stand again, brushing off any lingering dew, though you may find that none clings, such as the courtesy of Aveloria. Return to the stone path. It extends past the cedar toward twin oak doors, each carved with scenes of journeys by land and sea, knights riding beneath banners, swans gliding across lakes, ships with billowing sails cutting through moonlit waves. Yet the figures within these carvings appear serene, not triumphant, each adventure culminating in quiet arrival rather than conquest. Running your fingertips along the relief, you notice the carved wood is warm, as if touched recently by late afternoon sun, though no sunlight reaches here, a sign perhaps that this castle remembers daylight even in deepest night. Notice also that the right-hand door stands slightly ajar. From within drifts a ribbon of amber light, deeper and warmer than the lantern's glow, carrying with it the softest scent of sandalwood and parchment. Something inside beckons, but gently, never with urgency. You reach out, palm meeting the smooth wood, and push. The door slides inward without a creak, revealing a short corridor lined with candles set into niches. Their flames dance in perfect synchrony as if choreographed by an unseen conductor. Walk forward, letting the door ease shut behind you with a muted thud, sealing the night outside and enveloping you in hushed warmth. Inside, the air is a touch warmer, carrying faint whispers of vanilla, cedar smoke, and distant rain, though you cannot yet hear rain. The floor beneath your feet transitions from cool stone to wide planks of dark cherry wood, polished smooth by centuries of gentle steps. Each board offers a subtle creak, soft, musical, affirming that you are indeed within living architecture. Overhead, the ceiling arches high, beams curved like the ribs of a sleeping whale, painting an intimate cathedral of wood and shadow. Take slow steps along the corridor. On either side, framed tapestries depict nightscapes embroidered with silver thread. A stag drinking from a moonlit lake, a fox curled beneath snow-laden branches, an owl perched on a windowsill, gazing into candlelight. The images glow softly in the candlelit corridor, their silver threads reflecting tiny sparks of gold from the flames. You feel these creatures watching over you, silent guardians of your tranquil passage. Halfway down the hall, you come upon a niche, holding a delicate bowl of clear water. The bowl is forged from crystalline quartz. Deep within, the water glows faintly as though lit from an invisible moon. Floating on its surface are petals of blue lotus, each releasing a calming fragrance, a fragrance that seems to hush thoughts as easily as stepping into a dream. Dip one finger into the bowl if you wish. The water is cool, silk smooth, and as your skin touches it, you feel a fresh clarity spread into your mind like a breeze sweeping cobwebs from a forgotten attic. Continue onward, each step landing diffused with the lotus calm, each breath deeper than the last. The candle flames tilt toward you as you pass, as though bowing, soft-footed. You reach the corridor's end, where a single arched doorway opens into a circular antechamber. This chamber glows with bronze lamplight, and the air here hums with quiet expectancy, yet also with acceptance, as though any desire you have will be gently granted in its time. At the center of the antechamber stands a pedestal crafted of marble, so translucent it might be carved from frozen moonlight. Resting upon it, an hourglass, but unlike any you have seen, its upper globe is filled, not with sand, but with a luminous silver mist, while the lower globe holds fine grains that resemble starlight shavings. Between them flows a delicate ribbon of shimmering particles that drift downward so slowly you wonder if they move at all. There is no rush here, only a reminder that time in this castle bends to comfort, not command. You reach out with reverence, fingertips brushing the glass. The hourglass remains warm to the touch, vibrating faintly. In that vibration you perceive a message, wordless but clear. While you are here, time serves your rest. Reassured, you lower your hand. The real world's hours and minutes have already begun to blur, dissolving like ink in evening rain. What remains is the tempo of serenity, and that tempo is perfect. Opposite the hourglass, a staircase spirals upward. The steps are shallow and padded with thick, cream-colored carpet, embroidered with subtle constellations. Tiny stars stitched in thread that glows faintly when struck by ambient light. As you set foot on the first step, you feel as though you are stepping onto a soft cloud. The staircase curves gently, no railing needed. Each step cradles your foot, guiding it to the next. With each ascent, the air shifts, ever so slightly cooler, tinged with a hint of pine and distant rain cloud. Around one bend, you glimpse a tall arched window cut into the castle wall. The glass is clear as mountain ice. Beyond it, the moon floats in solitary grandeur, close enough that you imagine touching its cratered surface. Pause there if you wish, resting a hand on the window's stone sill, feeling the faint chill that radiates from it. Let the beauty of that lunar vista settle into your chest, a wordless lullaby for the soul. Continue upward, counting steps if you like, or letting them melt into breathing cycles. 11, 12, 13. At step 14, the scent of roses returns, warmed now by a subtle note of sandalwood. At step 15, you hear faint harp strings, gentle, tentative, as though someone far away plucks them merely to test their tune. By step 18, the music becomes clearer, coaxing you upward with gliding arpeggio. It feels less like sound and more like a soft current of light, shimmering up the staircase. Around the final curve, the stair ends at a landing, wrapped in plush dusk blue drapery. Heavy velvet curtains hang along the walls, muffling any echo, amplifying tranquility. Before you stands a door carved from pale sycamore, its surface etched with a compass rose, north, south, east, and west, but the needle points inward, toward the heart. Above the compass, a single line of script glows faintly. The journey within begins beyond this door. You breathe in, feel your chest expand. Your shoulders release one more notch. You breathe out, and the door silently swings open, alone as though sensing your readiness. Behind the door stretches a corridor illuminated by wall sconces, shaped like crescent moons. Their flames burn blue-white, cool, yet inviting. The floor here is not wood nor stone, but cushioned fabric, like walking upon thick layers of cloud. It yields under your weight, embracing each step with hush. The corridor curves ever so slightly, and the harp music grows richer, accompanied now by the faint hush of rain. Somewhere nearby water kisses stone in rhythmic intervals, perhaps an indoor fountain, perhaps the beginning of an open courtyard. Regardless, the sound merges with the harp in a duet of serenity. Pause and breathe again. Notice how your inhales sweep gently into the upper chest, how your exhales glide out in long, soft sighs. If thoughts arise, memories of the day, plans for tomorrow, see them as those fireflies from the meadow, bright, harmless, drifting. Watch them float upward until they vanish into the high ceiling, leaving only quiet in their wake. At the next crescent moon sconce, you observe a tiny brass plaque. It reads, "Follow the lanterns. They know the way to rest." You glance ahead. Indeed, small lanterns now appear at intervals along the floor, their glass panels tinted indigo, their flames breathing soft lavender light. These lanterns form a path, and instinctively your feet align with it, as though drawn by gentle magnetism. Step by step you advance, lantern to lantern, breath to breath. Each lavender flame seems to bow as you pass, brightening ever so slightly. Between lanterns your world drapes into near darkness, but you are unafraid, for you trust the pattern. Illumination will appear precisely when needed. This trust seeps deeper with each pace, until trust itself becomes a form of rest. Finally, the corridor widens into a small vestibule lit by a skylight, cut directly into the roof. Through that skylight, the moon reveals itself once more, larger now, luminous, ringed with a faint halo. Its light pours into the chamber like liquid pearl, pooling upon a round rug of midnight velvet stitched with golden thread. As your eyes adjust, you see that the golden stitching forms an image, the castle itself, cradled within an 8-point compass rose. At the compass's heart, where Aveloria rests, gleams a single sapphire bead, catching moonbeams and scattering them into quiet sparks. Step onto the rug. Feel its plush fibers embrace your feet. Note how the sapphire glow rises to greet you, casting a pale blue shimmer along your legs, your torso, your face. Imagine that shimmer filtering through skin and bone, softening every cell, calming every nerve. Breathe here, 2, 3, 4, slow cycles. In each inhale, draw moonlight. In each exhale, release anything left over from waking hours. With every breath, the air feels sweeter, your limbs softer, your mind more spacious. Before you, another doorway awaits, framed by archways, carved to resemble branches of olive trees. Their leaves, sculpted from mother of pearl, reflect dappled light that dances across the floor. The door itself is simple, unadorned, cracked open just enough to suggest welcome, not command. Through the gap spills a fragrance, light cedar and faint citrus, plus the unmistakable lull of rainfall. On distant stone, you feel a choice hover in the air. You may pause here, rest in the moonlit vestibule as long as you wish, or proceed, following cedar and rain toward deeper stories. This castle will never hurry you. Its corridors will wait. In your heart you sense that, whichever choice you make, serenity is certain. For now, savor this moment. A pause between wonders, a breath between heartbeats. Listen, the harp strings still vibrate in the distance, now slowed to a whisper. The rain hush merges with them, crafting a lullaby of water and wire. High above, the moon silently observes, casting gentle benediction. Your eyelids grow heavier, perhaps fluttering half closed. If you feel drowsy, you may rest right here, letting velvet and moonlight cradle your body. If curiosity still stirs, you may step through the olive branch archway, allowing rainfall and candle glow to carry you to the next chamber. Either way, safety enfolds you. Either way, the night is long and calm. And somewhere deeper inside the castle, a clock without hands quietly chimes, its single note ringing like a soft bell in a vast cathedral of dreams. It marks not the passing of time, but the deepening of peace, signaling that wherever you wander next, you will do so in perfect alignment with rest. So breathe once more, feel your shoulders gently settle, and know that the lantern beyond the iron gate was only the first herald of comfort. Ahead lie corridors of hushed wonder, chambers of whispered stories, gardens lit by constellations, each waiting, each ready to lull you further into gentle sleep. When you are ready, we will continue. But if your eyes close now, if sleep draws its velvet curtain, rest assured that the castle will complete the journey for you, carrying your dreams across its moonlit halls until dawn's first light. Peace accompanies your every breath. The lantern's glow lingers in your heart. The gate behind stands quietly closed, safeguarding the stillness within. You are home in the hush of night, home in the cradle of Aveloria, home in the tender hush of your own unfolding dream. The moment you cross the olive branch archway, a hush like the inside of a seashell settles around your senses. The corridor's faint cedar citrus breath follows you, only a step or two, then drifts away, replaced by the deeper honey-warm scent of polished wood and distant beeswax candles. Ahead, the passage slopes downward in the softest incline, as though the castle invites you to lean into gravity, to surrender even the tiny effort of standing tall. You let your shoulders roll forward a fraction, discovering that the slight descent carries you effortlessly, your feet gliding over the cushioned floor as though you were riding a silent conveyor woven from night blue velvet. Far ahead, a glow begins to bloom, at first no brighter than morning fog catching silver dawn, then steadily expanding into the promise of a grand chamber. With every slow breath you take, the glow brightens a degree, as if inhalation itself feeds the hidden lamps. Soon the corridor widens, its walls drawing apart like theater curtains, revealing a vaulted space so spacious and serene that for an instant you forget to breathe at all. Welcome to the Grand Hall of Aveloria. Pause on the threshold. Let your eyes roam from floor to ceiling, left to right, ceiling back to floor, soaking in proportions designed not to impress with sheer size but to inspire calm through graceful balance. Pillars of pale marble rise in twin rows, their shafts veined with lines of glimmering silver that catch candlelight and send it traveling upward like gentle lightning. Between each pillar hangs a broad tapestry dyed midnight indigo and embroidered with constellations in soft pearl thread. Cassiopeia reclines upon one, on another the Pleiades sparkle, on a third a graceful swan soars, its wings outstretched in eternal flight. Together the tapestries form an indoor night sky, echoing the real one still shimmering beyond stone walls, so that should clouds cover the outside heavens, visitors here may still gaze upon stars. The hall's floor is an intricate mosaic of dark cedar planks and pale ashwood tiles. They interlock in swirling patterns, like ripples moving across a moonlit pond. As you step forward, the floor emits faint musical tones, subaudible hums that vibrate in your souls and rise up through your bones. Each note is soft enough not to startle, yet deep enough to remind your body that you too are an instrument capable of resonance. With every footfall, you feel a sympathetic vibration in your chest, as though your rib cage were gently strummed by invisible fingers.
Now listen. Somewhere high above, hidden within the vaults, an unseen chorus of echoes repeats your steps in slow delay, each echo slightly softer than the last, creating the illusion that you are followed by phantom footsteps made of memory. These echoes do not disturb, rather they comfort, like a trusted friend trailing a respectful distance to ensure you are never alone. They expand the sense of space while simultaneously weaving a cocoon of sound around you, a softly pulsating bubble that separates you from the frenetic world far beyond castle walls. Inhale gently, letting that cocoon of sound and scent fill every corner of your awareness. The air tastes like warm amber honey mixed with a drop of midnight rain. It slides down your throat, spreading quiet warmth through your torso, dissolving any residual knots of tension in the abdomen, loosening the small muscles around the spine. On your exhale, you might imagine tiny motes of tension leaving your mouth as faint wisps of smoke, dissipating into the grand hall's vast peace.
As your steps carry you deeper into the chamber, you notice polished wooden benches arranged along each side wall, cushioned with velvet in hues of deep sapphire and antique gold. Their armrests curve in gentle arcs, resembling open arms ready to welcome weary souls. Take a moment if you wish to recline on one of these benches. As you sit, the cushion sighs beneath you, molding instantly to your shape. Feel the bench's backrest cradle your spine. Feel the seat rise just a fraction to support your thighs, leaving no part of you hanging. The wood beneath the velvet is warm, almost body temperature, suggesting it has known the comfort of many previous dreamers who sat here before continuing their journey into sleep. Settle into the bench. If your hands rest on your lap, note how your palms naturally open upward, fingers relaxed, as if ready to receive invisible grains of starlight. Close your eyes for a brief sequence of breath. On the inhale, imagine that starlight drifting downward from the embroidered heavens overhead, pooling gently in your open palms, cool and luminous. On the exhale, imagine it sinking through your skin, flowing into wrists, forearms, elbows, until it reaches your shoulders and disperses through the chest, illuminating the heart with faint silver glow. 3 slow cycles like this, and your chest feels lighter, as though gravity has loosened its hold. Open your eyes again. Across the hall, halfway between 2 mighty pillars, a wide archway frames a set of double doors carved from dark walnut. Their surfaces shimmer under candlelight, revealing reliefs of quiet forest scenes, deer drinking at still ponds, families gathering around twilight fires. Overhead, a gilded plaque bears an inscription in elegant script, Hall of Echoing Memories. You understand that beyond those doors lie countless stories preserved within Avaloria's walls. Stories that, unlike the roaring epics of battle or sorrow, proceed in patient whispers, destined to lull rather than excite. But the Hall of Echoing Memories awaits another time. Tonight, your path leads elsewhere. Your gaze drifts upward, following the marble pillars, to their capitals, where sculpted vines embrace clusters of fruit, pomegranates, figs, and grapes, rendered in warm copper leaf that gleams like sunset, playing through autumn leaves. High above, the ceiling curves into a series of shallow domes. Each dome centers upon a skylight, filled with glass tinted the palest lavender. The moonlight passing through these panes diffuses into gentle radiance, casting pools of color across the floor, across your skin, across everything the light touches. Walking through one such pool, you seem to glide through liquid dusk, emerging on the other side, cleansed of hurry, cleansed of noise. Continue strolling. After a dozen paces, you reach an octagonal fountain, set flush with the floor. Water flows from 8 small bronze spouts, each shaped like a crescent moon, tipped downward, as though pouring lunar silver directly into the shallow basin. The water's surface is perfectly mirror smooth, except where each spout's narrow stream lands, sending pianissimo ripples outward until they touch the basin's rim and dissolve. Lean over to watch a droplet fall. See how it strikes the pool, forms concentric rings that expand, then vanish without hurry, like a thought arising and passing. Dip a fingertip into the water. It is cool yet not chilling, silky with dissolved minerals that leave a whisper of softness upon your skin when you withdraw. The droplet that clings to your finger glitters with captured candlelight, shivering, then finally slides off and returns to the fountain, completing a cycle older than the castle. Stand again. Somewhere beneath the ballads of water and echoing steps, you notice a new sound. A low, resonant hum, pitched so deep it vibrates more in bone than in ear. Follow that hum subtly rightward, where the hall narrows into a short vestibule. There you discover the source, an enormous wooden door, banded with iron, partially open, behind which yawns an immense spiral staircase descending into the castle's heart. The hum seems to drift upward from those depths, an ancient organ note sustained by the very stone itself, perhaps the voice of Avaloria's foundations, singing in endless rest. You will descend those stairs later in our journey, but not now. Tonight's story rises rather than falls, and so you turn, letting the door ease closed, letting the deep hum recede to background like a bass lullaby. You walk again toward the hall's opposite end, where another smaller staircase ascends, carved of polished onyx steps that gleam like black rivers. A delicate balustrade of wrought silver follows the outer curve, swirling into leaf shapes and gentle spirals. At the foot of the stair waits a pedestal supporting a single candle enclosed in frosted glass. The candle's flame flickers pale blue, steady and quiet. Approach this pedestal. A plaque upon it reads, "Pause here, traveler. Count 7 breaths before you rise." So you obey. One deep inhale. Feel air touching the back of the throat, widening the lungs, refreshing the blood. Then exhale in measured cascade. 2, 3. With each breath, tension sinks downward, leaving shoulders, leaving hips, leaving knees, until tension pools at your feet, then melts into the floor. On breath 7, you sense a subtle readiness, neither excitement nor reluctance, but calm willingness. Place your hand lightly on the silver balustrade. It is warm, alive with faint vibrations that pulse in time with that deeper hum still thrumming somewhere below, yet now far away. Begin climbing. The staircase curves gently upward, each step shallow and broad, making ascent effortless. As your foot presses each onyx surface, a faint robin egg blue glow appears under the ball of the foot, then fades after you lift it, like footprints in twilight sand. The air here carries a whisper of lavender incense, and the faintest chime of hidden bells struck once, then left to float on silence. By the 12th step you feel as if gravity has kindly lessened. The staircase seems to rise to meet your feet, rather than requiring your feet to rise against it. 20 steps, 24. At step 27 the scent shifts again, adding distant jasmine, recalling the meadow outside but softer, like memory rather than encounter. At the 33rd step, the onyx landing opens into a mezzanine balcony circumscribing part of the grand hall. A silver lattice railing lines the balcony's edge, allowing you to gaze down upon the fountain and tapestries from a new angle. The view reveals hidden symmetries, how each marble pillar aligns perfectly with a star embroidered above, how the fountain's octagon echoes the ceiling domes. From this vantage the hall feels not enormous, but intimate, like the inside of a music box patiently waiting for the next note. But your journey continues forward, as an arched doorway, framed by twin silver torches, draws you on. Their flames flicker a pearly rose hue, releasing faint warmth that embraces you as you pass between them. Beyond, a short corridor paneled in pale birch leads to an enormous set of double doors fashioned from glass as clear as starlight. Unlike other doors, these bear no carvings, no runes, only the faint iridescence of moonbeams playing across their surfaces. Stand before them. Through the glass, you glimpse a vast room filled with reflections, shimmering surfaces that catch fragments of light and return them multiplied. A placard to the side reads, Corridor of Living Mirrors. You recall this name from the outline, whispered earlier in your journey. A subtle thrill stirs in your ribcage. Not a jolt, but a soft shimmer, expectation laced with calm. You place your hand on the glass. It swings inward with the grace of a breath, silent as falling petals. Inside, light lives like water. Mirrors of varying heights and widths line both walls and even parts of the ceiling, angled so that any glimmer from a candle, any flick of moonlight, ricochets through the corridor in endless gentle dance. Stepping forward, you do not see a single harsh reflection of yourself. Instead, each mirrored pane offers a version of you softened, luminously calm, as if the mirror paints your face with the serenity you seek. In one panel, you appear wrapped in starlight. In another, your features blur into a comforting outline of warm color. In yet another, you are a silhouette humming with tiny lights like a constellation shaped into human form. Walk slowly. Notice how each mirror reveals not only yourself, but also scenes unfolding behind you. Tapestries, fountains, pillars, so that the corridor feels simultaneously enormous and intimate. A kaleidoscope of peaceful imagery, held in quiet equilibrium. Your footsteps produce the softest pad upon a thick runner carpet, woven with night violet threads that sparkle. With each footstep, tiny motes of light stir from the fibers, swirl upward, then fade. Halfway down the corridor, a mirrored alcove appears on your right, framed by pale lilac curtains. Inside this alcove sits a low table of translucent alabaster upon which rests a small crystal decanter filled with golden liquid, alongside a single clear glass shaped like a tulip blossom. A card propped beside the decanter reads, Elixir of Gentle Confidence, sip only if you wish. Should you choose to pour a measure, the liquid glows faintly, releasing fragrance of orange blossom and a wisp of vanilla. A single sip coats your tongue with warmth that travels down the chest, nestling behind the sternum like a hearth spark that brightens, then settles, radiating quiet assurance.
Perhaps you partake. Perhaps you merely smile and move on. Either choice gifts calm. Resuming your walk, you see mirrors before you curving gently inward, guiding you deeper. At the corridor's end stands a single tall mirror framed in snowy birchwood, its surface rippling like the surface of a lake at dawn. Approach. When you stand before it, the rippling halts, becoming smooth as polished silver. Instead of reflecting external appearance, the mirror reveals an inner image. Your shoulders resting low, your brow uncreased, eyes half-lidded with serenity. You see yourself standing on the moonlit balcony described in whispered memory of the next segment. Though you have yet to reach it, the reflection smiles a knowing smile, as though reminding you that all destinations in Aveloria already live in the heart before feet arrive.
Place your palm upon the mirror. It yields, your hand sinking halfway as if into cool water. When you withdraw, a faint circle of light lingers where your hand was, then drifts upward like a soap bubble, touches the ceiling and pops in a shimmer of silver dust. You breathe out, releasing a sigh that feels like it has waited lifetimes to leave. To the left of the tall mirror, a modest door stands ajar. Through it filters crisp night air bearing scent of pine, hint of distant thunder. You know this door will take you to the exterior balustrade leading to the moonglow balcony, the place where meteor streaks across velvet sky in segment 8. But your journey now circles back, for the grand hall still holds a quiet echo for you to claim. Returning through the corridor of living mirrors is easier. Each mirror now grants a glimpse of lingering luminescence, where your presence passed, like footprints of light guiding you back. You exit into the birch-paneled passage, then cross through the silver-flamed torches onto the mezzanine. The onyx stairs descends, each step greeting you with faint robin egg blue glow and silent farewell as you lift your foot. Reaching the fountain level again, you pause to hear. Do you catch that underlying hum from below? It is softer now, overshadowed by a new sound, a gentle, persuasive beckoning from the Hall of Whispering Books, though you still have many chapters before entering there. Stroll once more across the Grand Hall's floor mosaic. Notice how the cedar and ash pattern now feels familiar. The subtle musical tones echo less because your body, having absorbed them, hums in sympathetic resonance. Pass beneath the tapestries, feel starlight threads shimmer overhead, and pause by a pillar where candlelight flickers from a sconce trimmed with mother of pearl. Rest your back against the cool marble, tilt your head upward, and observe how the silver veins in stone seem to flow slowly. Perhaps they always did, and you only now notice. Their movements slow as glaciers, signals that even stone participates in the castle's breathing, elongating, contracting with each visitor's restful sigh. Let your eyelids drift half closed. Feel your pulse in your wrists. A slow drum in time with distant harp strings that once coaxed you up the onyx stair. The harp is quieter now, as if repositioned behind walls. But its memory lingers. Listen. Between heartbeats, you almost hear words hummed by unseen lips. They are not in any language you know. They are older, simpler, syllables of comfort like ah, oe, each sliding into the next like warm milk into honey. The world narrows to sensation, marble cool behind you, floor steady beneath you, air warm, lungs slow. If you decide to close your eyes fully, allow yourself to drift for a while. Even standing here, you can doze. Aveloria will support you. Echoes will guard you. Should you choose to continue instead, push off the pillar gently, feeling it gift a whisper of energy, just enough momentum to move toward the next hall, the garden of fireflies. A faint, jasmine-tinged breeze greets you the instant you step beyond the grand hall, as though night itself has drawn a long, gentle breath, and now exhales calm directly into your senses. You find yourself in a short vestibule lined with pale stone. From somewhere ahead, water murmurs and leaves whisper, and a cool shimmer of moonlight spills across the threshold in a thin, beckoning ribbon. Overhead hangs a wooden sign etched with silver letters so delicate they seem spun from morning frost. To the garden of fireflies, enter softly. Breathe slowly, leave glowing. Allow the words to settle inside your mind like feathers drifting to rest. Place one palm upon the smooth stone wall beside you. Feel how it radiates a steady warmth, the stored kindness of every sunset that has ever touched it. With each inhale, draw that warmth inward. With each exhale, let stray thoughts drift outward and dissolve, as though the wall itself absorbs them in silent gratitude. When you feel ready, move forward. A silk curtain of midnight blue velvet parts at your approach, sliding aside without a sound. Beyond it stretches a short colonnade, its arches open to the night. Moonlight pours through every opening, painting long, pale rectangles across the floor of polished obsidian. As you walk, your footsteps echo in soft, rounded tones, as if the stone itself hums blessings beneath your soles. Notice how your breathing synchronizes with each echo. Inhale, step, exhale, echo. Inhale, step, exhale, echo, until breath, body, and night blend into a single, unhurried rhythm. At the end of the colonnade, a pair of carved cedar doors stand ajar. Their panels depict vines entwined around lanterns, each lantern cradling a tiny crystal flame. You push the right-hand door with the gentlest pressure, and it swings inward upon hinges so well tended that they utter only the slightest susurrus, like silk brushing silk. A gasp of wonder, perhaps barely audible, escapes your lips. Before you unfurls, a garden bathed in liquid silver. Paths of pale marble meander through beds of night-blooming flowers, moon roses, star anemones, and velvet pansies that glow with subtle phosphorescence. Tall ferns stand motionless, fronds tipped with pearl-white dew. At the garden's heart, a tranquil pond mirrors the heavens, so still that it is impossible to tell where sky ends and water begins. And everywhere, drifting between petals and branches, hover countless fireflies, tiny lanterns of living light, pulsing in soft cadence, as though the garden itself possesses a heartbeat made of stars. Pause beneath the stone archway and breathe. The air carries layered fragrances, honey-sweet night phlox, fresh rain resting on leaves, a trace of mint where some hidden spring trickles over moss. Each scent glides into your lungs unhurried, then floats outward as calm. You feel tension melt from your neck like wax from a candle, drip from your shoulders, slide down your arms and drip, drip, drip into the garden soil where it is absorbed and transformed into nourishment for blooming peace. Step onto the nearest path. It is warm beneath bare or shod feet, holding just enough heat to remind you of sunlit afternoons, long past yet not so much that it disturbs the cool hush of night. To your right, a low hedge of lavender sways though no wind is felt, releasing sleepy notes of purple-scented comfort. As you pass, fireflies gather above the lavender, their lights blinking in gentle waves, as if bowing in greeting. You bow back, whether in your heart or with a slight tilt of the head makes no difference. Either way, the fireflies understand and drift aside, forming a glowing escort that keeps pace with your steps. Farther along you arrive at a circular clearing paved with mosaic tiles of moonstone and onyx. In its center rises a marble pedestal, supporting a glass orb about the size of a songbird's nest. Within the orb swirls silver mist. Each time the mist folds upon itself, it reveals a fleeting image. A mountain bathed in dawn light, a quiet river beneath falling snow, a candlelit room where a child sleeps peacefully. These are echoes of peaceful memories, perhaps yours, perhaps collected from travelers long gone. They appear for a heartbeat, then dissolve back into mist. If you wish, extend a fingertip to the orb. The glass is cool, but not cold. The moment skin meets crystal, the mist calms, gathering into a single luminous droplet that drifts upward to touch your finger. It bursts in perfect silence, releasing a spark of light that sinks into your skin and travels straight to the center of your chest, where it settles warm and steady like a tiny second heart beating slower, slower, slower. Listen, you may feel its rhythm merging with your own, guiding your pulse into an even softer cadence. Beyond the clearing, the path divides. One branch leads toward the pond, where a small arched bridge of white marble crosses to an island shaded by weeping willows. The other branch winds toward a stand of cypress trees lit from below by concealed lanterns that cast upward beams of silver, turning each trunk into a pillar of quiet flame. Choose whichever path calls to you first. The garden is patient, and you may wander indefinitely through its moonlit calm. Than the Willow Island Bridge. Let us drift first toward the pond. As you near, the firefly's glow intensifies, reflecting off still water in thousands of starry pinpoints, until the pond resembles a universe contained within liquid crystal. The bridge's low railings are carved with patterns of lotus and heron. Each carving feels smooth beneath your fingers, edges worn into gentle curves by decades of moonlit hands. Step onto the bridge, hear how it murmurs. The faintest creak, more a contented sigh than a groan, as it welcomes your weight. Pause at the crown of its gentle arch. Look down, your reflection gazes back, but softer edges blurred by ripples of light. Watch how a firefly touches the surface and sends circles radiating outward, distorting reflection into trembling rings of silver. In those rings, worries dissolve, as if each ripple scrubs a little more dust from the mirror of the mind.
On the far side, the path changes from marble to packed earth cushioned by fallen willow leaves. Each step is silent. The willows dip long tendrils into the water, their tips trailing gentle lines across the pond's glassy face. In their branches, fireflies gather in small constellations, forming glowing pendants that sway in harmony with the tree's slow breath. A stone bench sits beneath the largest willow, half circled by clusters of snow-white peonies, whose petals glow faint blue. You may sit. The bench embraces your shape, cool stone warming quickly under your presence. Close your eyes, lean back, and listen.
Hear the night speak in 5 voices. A single frog hidden near the opposite shore issues intermittent croaks, low and resonant, like a bass string plucked once, then left humming. Water kisses stone at the bridge's base in tiny laps. Click, hush, click, hush. Leaves rustle in the faintest wind. Hush, hush, like silk skirts gliding across polished floors. The firefly's wings vibrate so softly you almost imagine the sound, a cotton-soft buzz at the edge of hearing, your own breath, slow, steady, weaving in and out, the anchor of all other sounds. With every cycle, these voices align, forming a gentle lullaby that cradles thought, lowers eyelids. Should you lean your head back against the willow's trunk, you will find the bark unexpectedly smooth, almost velvety. Its faint pulse meets the back of your skull, reassuring, like being rocked in unseen arms. You may linger here for as many breaths as you choose. Time in Aveloria flows in spirals, looping back to offer each moment twice so that nothing feels rushed. To the cypress grove, when you rise, if you rise, retrace your steps across the bridge, feeling the gentle give of wooden planks. Return to the fork and follow the other path into the cypress grove. The air here cools a degree, touched by the hidden spring that feeds the pond. The lanterns at ground level cast upward columns of pale light, turning each tree into a pillar of quiet luminescence. The bark smells faintly of citrus and rain-washed earth. Between trunks, stone lanterns shaped like small pagodas nestle among mossy rocks, their windows glowing with steady amber flames that never flicker despite the open night. At the grove's heart, the path widens into a small clearing paved with smooth pebbles. In its center stands a circular reflecting bowl, carved from obsidian, filled with water so still it appears solid. Fireflies drift above the bowl in slow spirals, their reflections forming inverse spirals within the water, like twin galaxies wheeling in silence. Kneel, if you wish, on a cushion of moss placed conveniently at the rim. Lean over. The water's surface holds your reflection until a fire's light touches it. Then your image blooms outward into rings of white radiance that dissolve into stars. In that dissolution, you sense a gentle teaching. Identities shimmer and change under light, but light itself remains. From the far edge of the clearing comes a sound, a gentle chiming, as though a child's hand brushes wind bells. Follow the sound to discover a tiny wooden gate, no higher than your chest, standing slightly ajar. A sign above reads, "Children's Path of Wonder, adults welcome, if they remember how to marvel. If curiosity stirs, step through." The path narrows into a tunnel of lilac bushes, whose flowers glow pale rose, releasing fragrance that calls memories of warm blankets and lullaby hum. The path curves in gentle loops, designed to feel endless yet short. At its end waits a stone seat, shaped like an open storybook. Carved words across its pages read, "Once upon this night, may every question find an answer in dream." Sitting there, the lilacs close ranks, forming a scented alcove where any lingering questions soften, losing edges, until wonder fills their place. Tree return to the heart. Eventually, guided either by a subtle nudge of thirst or a calm readiness for deeper quiet, you drift back toward the garden's main path. It leads you once more to the central pond, where now a gentle mist has risen, rolling low across the water like milk poured into tea. The fireflies glide through this mist, their lights softened into halos, so each insect seems to carry a tiny moon around itself. A low wooden platform extends a short distance over the pond's surface, supported on silent pilings. You step onto it. It sways the faintest bit, then steadies, adopting your weight as part of its balance. In the center of the platform rests a large round cushion stitched from silk the color of deep twilight. You sit, cross-legged or with legs folded to one side, and at once the cushion adapts to every contour of your body. Beneath it, the platform's sway whispers a lullaby of motion. Back, forth, as if you float upon a cradle set adrift in starlit waters. From somewhere unseen, perhaps the willows, a harp begins to play. A slow progression, 3 notes at a time, each fading into the next, like overlapping waves. With those notes comes a soft, wordless choir, maybe voices, maybe wind through distant chimes. The melody encourages long exhales. Breathe out fully. Hold the momentary stillness at the bottom of breath. 1 heartbeat, 2. Then let fresh air glide in, filling lungs from belly upward, lifting sternum like a sail capturing night breeze. Continue until the breath and harp align so naturally that you cannot tell which guides which. Floating in this union of sound and breath, you may feel outlines blur, the outline of your shoulders, your hips, your thoughts all soften, edges dissolving into the pool of quiet. Fireflies drift closer, forming a loose halo around the platform. Some settle on the cushion's hem, blinking soft gold against twilight silk. One lands on your knee, pulses once, twice, thrice, then lifts, leaving behind a tiny glimmer that sinks through fabric into skin, becoming part of you. With each such gift, your body feels lighter, as though woven from the same gentle luminescence. You need not move, need not think. Let eyelids fall if they wish. Behind them, perhaps you still see sparks of firefly light, now memory lights dancing across inner vision. Those sparks arrange into shapes, constellations, forgotten lullaby lyrics, faces of friends smiling in slow dream, or maybe there is only warm darkness filled with velvet hush. Both are perfect. Time pools, stretches, evaporates. You may rest here minutes or hours. The castle will keep count while you simply are. Should you drowse, your head tipping forward, the cushion will rise to meet you, and the platform will keep a slow sway tuned to breaths. If you slip into dreams, fireflies will stand watch, their lights pulsing steady like guardian beacons. For leaving the garden, or not, eventually, or not yet, a gentle instinct stirs, suggesting the story continues elsewhere in Aveloria. Perhaps the library of whispering books calls, or the tower of soft whispers, or the moonglow balcony where meteors trail bright vows across the sky. If you choose to leave now, the fireflies will guide you back along a path subtly different from the one by which you arrived, ensuring that new wonders greet each returning step. The air will shift. Jasmine yields to sandalwood, then to faint parchment scent that heralds shelves of ancient volumes awaiting your fingertips. But if sleep claims you fully here, beneath willow mist, where cypress glow, that too is blessed. Castle caretakers of moonlight and hush will drape a quilt invisible yet warm across your shoulders. They will dim lanterns, quiet harps, hush fountains, asking only the soft night chorus to keep watch while you drift deeper into silent constellations of dream. And when dawn's first blue begins to wash the sky outside of Valoria's high windows, they will unfurl gentle bells far away down corridors so the tiniest silver note invites you to rise, rested, renewed. For now, rest or wander. Both are forms of welcome. Let calm fill every hollow of your being. Fireflies flicker, lilies sigh, water hushes. You are exactly where peace predicted you would be, safe within the garden of fireflies, carried by breath, by moon, by unspoken lullabies, toward the next petal of gentle sleep. You leave the garden of fireflies as softly as a moonbeam slips from a lily's petal, guided by a living ribbon of little lanterns whose flames glow lavender and gold. At every bend a final firefly hovers, pulses twice as if saying goodnight, then drifts back to the garden, while you continue along a covered walk, fragrant with cedar and old paper. The corridor widens. Ahead, twin bronze doors, tall as towering sycamores, stand half open. Their surfaces gleam with reliefs of stacked tomes, unfurling scrolls, quills poised mid-sentence. Above the lintel, a single inscription glimmers in silver leaf. Words are feathers for resting minds. Enter and let them settle. A hint of warm parchment greets you, even before you cross the threshold, mixed with sandalwood, a breath of distant rain, and the subtle sweetness of pressed violets, slipped between aging pages long ago. The threshold of silence. Step inside. Feel the air change, cooler, denser, but velvet soft, as though every dust mote has been wrapped in hush. Beneath your feet spreads a wide parquet floor of walnut and birch, patterned into 8-point stars. Each star cradles a single candle in a glass globe. The flames burn steady, never flicker, casting puddles of amber light that overlap just enough to leave no corner in shadow. It is bright enough to read, dim enough to dream. Pause for 3 breaths.
Inhale, draw the scent of aged ink deep into your lungs. Notice how it calms the mind like a teacher's kind hush at story time.
Hold, feel the pause stretch like a held note amid choir silence. Exhale. Let stray thoughts fall as gently as bookmarks slipping closed. With every breath, the silence itself seems to throb, not emptiness, but presence. A collective murmur of memories, sleeping on shelves that reach from polished floor to vaulted ceiling, the aisles of murmuring shelves. Begin walking. Your steps land, soundless, cushioned by star shadow. On either side, bookcases climb 6, 7, 8 meters high, their ladders sliding silently on brass rails. Spines gleam in every muted hue. Dusty rose, storm cloud gray, deep forest, midnight blue. Some bear titles in gilt, some in delicate emboss, others blank, inviting imagination to supply a name. Lean closer to one shelf. Tilt an ear. You hear it a soft susurrus, like wind stirring reeds on a summer pond. It is the books themselves, whispering faintly, single syllables, half-dreamed lullabies. The sound of pages turning in distant memory. None of the whispers form sharp words. Instead, they weave a woven hush that slips between ribs, loosens the tiny muscles beside the spine, and tells the heart slower, slower, still. Choose any volume you like. Your hand gravitates toward a slender book bound in violet suede, titles stamped in moon silver, letters of gentle courage. As fingers brush the spine, the whispering hush rises. A welcoming sigh. Slide the book free. It is warm as though recently held. Yet when you open it, no handwriting mars the green pages. Instead, lines of soft light begin to crawl across the parchment, arranging themselves into fluid script, writing themselves for you alone. You have traveled far tonight. Every breath you take plants a quiet seed. Those seeds will open as blossoms of rest. The letters glow briefly, then fade, leaving the page blank once more. Close the cover. A soft pulse of gratitude seems to move along your fingertips to your forearm. Return the book. Hear an almost inaudible click, like a lock of recognition sliding home. Reading nook of breathing light. Deeper into the library, you notice an alcove with low archways woven of living ivy. Inside rests a circular divan, upholstered in dusk blue velvet. Tiny firefly lamps float just above, shedding a sheen of pale gold light that ebbs and flows in pace with your own inhalations. An illusion, perhaps, yet perfectly timed. Sit or recline. The velvet pours around you like warm water shaped into cushion. Along the inner curve of the divan lies a wooden music box. Lift its lid. A single harp string hums, not a melody but a sustained chord. C major stretched into infinity. With that drone, your breathing naturally elongates, 4 counts in, 6 counts out, until ribs move like slow wings. As you rest, shelves upon shelves curve overhead, forming a domed canopy of stories. In its highest reach, a glazed oculus frames the moon. Its cool radiance pours downward, splashing across a cascade-shaped chandelier of cut crystal. Every crystal captures moonlight and breaks it into halos that spin lazily around the arch of the dome, like slow comets in a private cosmos. Let your gaze follow those halos until eyelids grow heavy. When they close, you still feel their spirals, now turned inward, swirling soft luminescence through the mind's eye, brushing away cluttered after images of daylight, screen glare, street signs, hurried faces, overdue lists all fade under pale inner starlight. The book that reads you, perhaps before drowsiness claims you fully. You rise again, drawn by curiosity toward a marble plinth standing alone at aisle's end. Upon the plinth rests a massive codex bound in white leather marbled with gold. Its cover bears no title, only a single raised sigil shaped like an open eye. Touch the sigil. The cover unfastens, pages flaring like swan wings before settling. What appears upon the open page is not ink, but shimmering images. Scenes from your best memories, moments of laughter beneath sunlit trees, a time you felt proud of kindness offered without witness, evenings wrapped in blanket, listening to rain. The images glide one to another, painted in quiet watercolors. They linger just long enough for recognition, then drift onward, leaving behind feather-light echoes, warmth behind sternum, a soft pressure behind eyes that might become tears of comfort but never tip into sorrow. Turn the page. Future memories appear. Gentle possibilities. Not prophecies, but invitations. A sunrise watched unhurried. A letter you write to someone who needs hope. A walk where every footfall lands in gratitude. They too dissolve into luminous mist, saturating your bloodstream with assurance that good moments multiply when welcomed. Close the codex. A hush falls deeper even than before, like soft blankets layered atop softer. The sigil glows once, then dim, all of fading footsteps. You notice then that your own steps have grown exceptionally slow, almost drifting. Check your breath. Each inhale long as low tide, sliding in. Each exhale longer, like tide slipping seaward under moondraw. Shoulders float. Jaw unhinges any lingering grip. A clock somewhere behind book-lined walls tolls a single note, low, warm, close to a purr. It does not mark hours. It marks deepening rest. On that note, reading lamps dim themselves by a fraction, as though library guardians have turned down the world's volume. One more notch. You return to the divan. Settle again. The drone within the music box has faded to near silence, yet you perceive it still, vibrating the quiet like a cat's rumble. One of the tiny floating lights lowers, alighting on the book you still cradle. It glows brighter, then winks out, leaving a pinpoint after image on your retina that drifts, slows, stops. Your eyelids follow suit. If they close, perhaps they already have. Visions arise, corridors turning to rivers of ink, letters lifting like swans, wings beating once before gliding away. They leave behind emptiness, so soft, it feels padded, lined with velvet, safe. Whisper affirmations from far aisles, maybe left, maybe right. Words emerge on quiet currents, spoken by no single voice, yet shaped for you. You are safe here. Thoughts may sleep tonight. Every page can close until dawn. Breath is the bookmark. It will keep your place. Each affirmation floats close, settles on skin like down feathers, then melts inward, adding weightless warmth to muscle and marrow. With every phrase, shoulders sag deeper, the small muscles behind knees slacken, toes uncurl, heartbeat slows, lub-dub pause until lub-dub seems as leisurely as two distant ships exchanging melancholy horns across fog. Preparing to leave, or to dream, you might feel a gentle pull, reminding that the tower of soft whispers waits somewhere above, holding cool breezes and starlit vantage, or the moonglow balcony with its promise of meteor trail. If movement calls, you will find a silver-veined stair at the back of the library, leading upward in measured, shallow steps. But if eyelids droop heavy as dusk clouds, remain. The divan will cradle you. Books will stand watch like devoted librarians of dream. Candles will burn low, filtering shadows into warmer hues. Firefly lamps will drift higher, their glow dimming so privacy of sleep may settle. The final sensation as consciousness loosens is the softest brush, maybe breeze, maybe phantom page turning across your cheek. It carries the faint, old paper aroma of bedtime tales read by loved ones long ago. In that aroma are echoes of every lullaby ever hummed, every spine cracked open beside a nightlight, every whisper that ever promised, "Sleep now, all is well."
You rise from the library's dusk blue divan as if from a warm, forgiving sea, every limb buoyant, every breath an easy tide. The hall's candles gleam softer now, their flames no longer bright, points but mellow halos, a sure sign that night has deepened, and your steps are meant to flow upward, toward quieter air, toward the hush that lingers closest to the moon.
Follow the silver-veined stair at the library's rear. Its first riser bears an inscription too faint for hurried eyes, yet perfectly legible to one who walks in dream tempo. Ascend slowly. The higher you climb, the softer the world becomes. Rest your palm on the banisters sculpted from pale ash, polished satin smooth. The wood is warm, pulsing with a life force as steady as the cedar in the courtyard, as steady as your own heart, composed now of gentle beats and long sighing rests between. Step 1. A faint tone, low A, hums up through the stair. Step 2. The note modulates to B. Step 3. You scarcely hear the tones so much as feel them. Small ribbons of vibration braiding through your soles and up along shins, weaving calm into muscle and bone. By step 7, the note has become a whisper. C-sharp, soft videos typically range from 1 to 10 hours, allowing uninterrupted sleep and demanding.
The stair curves inside round arc screens or subtle animations prevent visual stimulation, aiding relaxation. Light in pearly sheets, each its soft-spoken or whispered storytelling, often incorporating ASMR elements, enhances the calming effect. Coves hold crystal hour, Gla's inclusion of rain, ocean waves, or gentle music complements the narrative and promotes sleep. A level to lower, each drip spend stories often revolve around tranquil settings like cozy cabins, serene beaches, or gentle adventures. Raz's purpose. Here, time is a droplet. Sleep story videos are generally long-form content, with durations typically between 1 to 10 hours. This length ensures that viewers can fall asleep without the video ending abruptly. Reptons can pass through silica into nerve. Observe one fall. A tiny star gliding down, kissing the lower bulb, dissolving with a soft ting like distant saw. The calming nature of sleep stories helps reduce stress and anxiety, facilitating better sleep. Age. Then leaves silence. Even regularly listening to sleep stories can become a bedtime ritual, signaling the brain that it's time to sleep. Sandalwood. Midway. Lavend. For some, the ASMR elements in these videos trigger a tingling sensation that promotes relaxation. Bloom. The breath you draw feels freshly minted. The narratives often create a sense of safety and comfort, essential for restful sleep. Light tight from daily burdens, now fluid, feather.
A soft glow ahead signals the stair's conclusion. The final riser meets a landing of milky quartz tile. Earnings from ads played before or after videos. Mid-roll ads are often avoided to prevent sleep disruption. Dungeoning through translucent stone, promoting sleep-related products or services. Earning a commission on sales. Its surface hammered into gent-selling branded items, like sleep masks, pillows, or apparel.
Upon the door, platforms like Patreon allow fans to support creators directly in exchange for exclusive content. Whole here.
Your breath-length collaborations with brands for product placements or dedicated videos. Letters shaped like an unfurling fusseling rights to use their stories on other platforms or apps. Arcan push, the door yields soundlessly, breathing in the tower. You enter a circular chamber, whose lofty ceiling tapers into a point where a lunette window frames the moon. The window's glass is thin as dragonfly wing. Each crisscrossed lead line forms star shapes, and moonlight pours through in slender beams that meet like gentle spears at the chamber's heart, creating a pool of silver on the floor. Step into the pool of light. Feel it cool, but nurturing, a soft radiance that coats skin, not with chill, but with serene possibility. Around you, the tower walls glow ivory. No shelves, no furniture, only recessed niches where tiny bells hang on invisible threads. They sleep, motionless, unless stirred by breath or stray eddy of air. Listen, there is no wind here, yet a murmur lives, a resonance born of curved stone and night. It is not voice yet, not silence, an almost imperceptible consonantless lull that invites you to answer with your own hush. Exhale and hear how your sigh gently brushes stone, returns to you a soft swell as though the tower repeats the sigh with fondness. Walk clockwise, slow, tracing palm along the wall. It is satin smooth, cool as glacier melt, but warms beneath touch. With every pace, a lamp in the floor ignites. Small, circular saucers of opalescent glaze, creating a trail of soft light behind. Ahead remains dim, ensuring steps stay deliberate, each footfall purposeful, unhurried. A low platform appears, carved of bleached cedar, shaped like an open spiral. At its center sits a single cushion, ivory silk, stuffed with down. Above, suspended on a spider-fine silver chain, hangs a clear crystal, the size of a plum. It rotates, though no breeze turns it, casting moon splinters that drift across the walls like phantom butterflies. Settle on the cushion. Immediately fabric size yielding to hips, shaping to thighs, back, shoulders. Rest hands on knees, palms open. The crystal above continues its lazy turn. Every time a beam crosses eyelids, it persuades lashes to lower further. Blink once, twice. Eyes remain half closed. Welcome half versions of the world. Whispers begin. A bell tinkles. Not loud, not startling. Just a single ting, soft as pin dropped on velvet. Your inhale hovers. Another bell answers from across the room. Pitch a minor third lower. Silence. Then a third higher, as though completing a chord in some ancient restful scale. After these 3 chimes, the tower hush deepens. Not emptiness, but pregnant quiet. Then from a niche behind you, a whisper arrives. Breathe.
Words so soft they might be simple breath shaped by intention. You obey, drawing air through nose, feeling ribcage expand sideways, collarbones rise, fractionally, lower belly balloon.
Another niche whispers. Breathe out. You release slowly. Long walls flutter. Shoulders ride down, half an inch. Chin dips. The exhale is long. A silken scarf drawn from pocket. When lungs empty, a pause opens wide enough to fit starlight. Third niche, front left. Imagine moonlight filling your spine. You picture a silver thread entering tailbone, traveling through lumbar valleys, thoracic peaks, cervical slopes, shining out crown. Immediately posture softens yet lengthens, like a reed swaying but unbroken. Fourth whisper, now nothing to hold. Your jaw unclenches, micromuscles behind ears slacken. Root of tongue softens. Saliva pools pleasantly under tongue. A sign body trusts rest. The whispers circle tower circumference, each issuing one instruction or reassurance. Voice genderless, ageless, belonging to stone and sky. Thoughts drift like clouds. Muscles melt like wax. Your heart slows, safe. With every phrase a bell may chime, so faint you feel rather than hear, sending ripples down walls like rings across water. Slow spiral of breath and thought. Begin a simple count for breath. Inhale 4, hold 2. Exhale 6, hold 2. 1 cycle. Repeat. After 3 cycles, whisper prompts. Fade. Bells fall silent. Only your rhythmic breath remains, partnered by a subtle resonance. The tower exhaling when you inhale, inhaling when you exhale. Perfect mirror. The crystal overhead shifts, catching moonbeam, focusing it like gentlest spotlight on center of chest, where beam meets skin. Warmth blooms, not heat, but awareness. Heart chakra lit from without and within. A picture forms behind closed lids. You, child-sized, holding a small paper lantern on summer night, watching fireflies swirl. The memory zooms out. Castle garden appears. Child you merges with present you. Lantern grows brighter, becomes crystal overhead. Crystal lowers, drifting until it hovers inches above open palms. It pulses with each heartbeat, sinking slower, slower, training pulse to an unhurried waltz. Corridor of exhaled voice. Perhaps curiosity rouses again. Softly, rise from cushion. Crystal lifts, returning to chain. Floor lights flicker, guiding to an arched doorway draped with gauze curtains. Part them. Enter a narrow corridor lined with niches, each containing rolled scrolls bound by braided silver thread. As you move, air stirs scrolls. Some unwind a fraction, parchment edges curling outward, like petals opening at dawn. Faint whispers escape, poems, lullabies in languages older than alphabets. Hum of lull derived from mothers of past centuries. They do not ask to be read. They only breathe restful vibration. You pass them. Arms at sides, finger brushing threads, feeling each hum pass into skin like distant thunder felt through stone floor. Corridor leads to spiral stairs, narrower than previous. Steps are padded with lamb's wool. Each descent feels like sinking into cloud, yet you ascend, illusion reversed. 2, 3 revolutions, until small observatory room unveils. The lantern room.
The observatory. A glass-domed turret open to sky. No wind enters, yet coolness abides. In the center, a low circular couch piled with cushions of silver thread brocade, flickering star patterns when moonlight hits threads. Recline, dome arcs overhead. Stars outside twinkle, though no atmosphere distorts them, for glass is crafted to magnify but not blur.
A soft mechanical click. Panels within couch open. A lantern rises, flame enclosed, casting rotating star fields upon dome interior. Constellations unfamiliar yet soothing. They turn slowly, opposite to Earth's rotation, giving sense time has paused, reversed, become malleable to rest.
Whispers from tower walls travel upward into dome, swirl, thin, become nothing more than hush of distant forest. Heartbeats slower still, maybe 40 beats per minute. Each one wide, soft. Lungs breathe so quietly,
Only the gentle rise of chest denotes life. Body could be statue carved of pale marble, animated by breath alone.
Melt into silent, at this altitude of calm. Thoughts misplace edges. Where begins memory? Where ends now? Distinctions soften like ink bleeding on damp parchment. You might recall names, events, small crises, but each appears coated in soft moss, rendered harmless, then floats away like feather on high current, until interior sky is clear. In that clearing, the tower offers closing words. Not as speech, but as feeling. Stay or drift further. Either is perfect. Accordingly, eyelids slip, final fraction shut. Jaw slack, tongue resting flat. Body sinks a centimeter into cushions as deep muscle groups release last micro holds. You may hear one final bell. Lowest octave, ringing like far cathedral across valley at midnight. Its vibration stirs chest cavity, resonates, fades. After only silence, infinite yet tender. And if dreams come, they will carry whisper textures, turning pages, droplet chimes, moon-fed breath. If no dreams come, mind may hover in luminous blankness, colored pale silver, rest as pristine as for snow. Towers promise, whether waking gently later for further chapters or sleeping until dawn, peals rose from horizon. Remember, the tower of soft whispers remains. Its bells will wait unswung. Its crystal will rotate patient. Its stairs will hum lull notes, should you need them again. For the Castle of Aveloria was built to cradle wanderers in nights they choose calm over clamor, to remind bodies how to let go, to teach thoughts to speak slowly, then whisper, then cease. A hush like velvet still blankets the tower of soft whispers when you sense a subtle invitation, an almost imperceptible lift beneath your ribs, as though moonlight has grown buoyant inside your chest and wishes to rise. The silver crystal above you slows its lazy spin, its final beam settling on an archway of pale stone just beyond the circular couch. Behind thistle-soft curtains the arch glimmers, promising a view that belongs to stardust alone. Leaving the tower nest, stand slowly. Allow the cushions to sigh back into their original shape. As you cross the floor lamps sigh closed behind you, returning the tower chamber to restful twilight. Draw aside the gauze drape. A short passage, narrow and half-lit, curves upward in a gentle ramp rather than stairs. So subtle you hardly notice the ascent, except for the way your lungs sip air that feels a single degree brisker, crisper, laced with pine and distant snow. Each footfall triggers a soft illumination at ankle height, rounded sconces set in the wall, their milk glass petals unfurling with each step, then folding again as you pass, a living pulse of welcome guiding you forward. The passage roof arches low, comforting rather than confining, its plaster tinted with faint lavender that recalls the first brushstroke of dawn. On the plaster, small slits reveal the outer night. Through them, spear-thin beams of moonlight slice across the corridor like silver harp strings. At the passage's crest, a single oaken door waits, weathered yet proud, bound by iron bands, hammered into swirling patterns of clouds and comets. Instead of a handle, a rope of braided moonsilk hangs, tipped with a bead of crystal that glints faint blue. As your fingers close around the braid, it feels cool, almost wet, like water made solid. Pull gently. The door swings inward on silent hinges, spilling a breath of alpine air across your cheeks. Pristine, thin, kissed by wind that has attended mountain peaks before drifting here. For steps into air, you step onto Moonglow balcony. Its floor is a broad semicircle of white granite veined with subtle mica that twinkles under lunar light. A waist-high balustrade encloses the platform. It is wrought from hammered silver twisted into the shapes of vines and feathers, polished so thoroughly that it reflects the night like a pool of liquid shadow. Pause. All movement in the body stills except the slow tide of breath. Before you, the sky sprawls unbroken, No rooftop, no wall, just a gulf of luminous dark, scattered with impossible pinpoints. The moon itself hovers only a few finger breadths above the balcony's edge. Enormous and pale gold, its Maria etched in crisp relief. So close, it seems you could taste its cold dust by merely inhaling. Air slides into lungs with a faint pine and snow tang, then flows out as white plumes visible in the chill. Inhale for a count of 4. Let the lungs stretch like unfolding scrolls. Hold 2 beats, allowing silver air to caress alveoli. Exhale 6, feeling shoulders flow downward, ribcage melt inward. As you breathe, something curious happens. The moon's disk appears to pulse, brightness waxing subtly with each inhale, dimming ever so slightly with each exhale. Whether true or illusion matters not. The rhythm bonds sky to body, celestial to cellular. Panorama of quiet constellation. Cast your gaze left to right, slow as the sweep of a lighthouse lamp. To the east, the night firms into cobalt, and there Orion reclines peacefully, his famous belt tilted like 3 lanterns hung from invisible rafters. Slightly below, Sirius blazes diamond blue. Overhead, the Pleiades shimmer. A miniature bouquet of fireflies recently escaped the garden below. To the south, a faint smudge of the Milky Way drifts, grainy and soft, like milk spilt across black glass. On the horizon, low clouds drift, but their tops glow argent under lunar wash. Every few breaths, one cloud's underbelly flickers, lightning far away, its thunder tamed to silent candle flashes at this remove. The display feels choreographed solely for witness. You realize there is nothing here that jostles or prods. Even the whispering tower behind you has fallen mute. Only breath, pulse, and the endless hush of upper atmosphere exist. The meteor promise. Lean forward, resting forearms on the cool silver railing. The metal's chill grounds you. It steals a shimmer of body heat, then returns warmth back like mirrored kindness. Somewhere high, a star detaches, streaks a brief luminous scar. White-green, swift, and vanishes. In its wake, a hush deeper than silence flowers. Inhale. Wish if you like. Exhale. The sky accepts. A moment later, another meteor arcs. Slower, golden, weaving a lingering ember trail that curls then dissipates. As ember fades, you feel weight slide from shoulders, as if each falling star siphons a pocket of tension. Small regrets, tiny worries, and carries them into a gravityless beyond where they transform into sparks of possibility. Guided breath of starlight, a soft voice arises, not from behind, not beside, but inside the very marrow of air. Genderless, timeless, it speaks 3 instructions spaced by your own breaths. Draw the moon along your spine. Inhale, picture moonlight flowing like quicksilver from tailbone to crown, illuminating vertebrae like street lamps lighting one by one. Let thoughts puddle at your feet. Exhale. Imagine ideas dripping down, pooling on granite, seeping between mica flecks until they shine like silver coins lost. And content. Invite the sky inside. Inhale again, feel ribcage swing open, gate wide. Admit stars, comets, nebulae, until interior expands to horizonless. After last exhale, the voice ebbs, replaced by low hum of castle stone cooling under night's caress. Moon mirror ritual. Center of balcony hosts a shallow basin, diameter of 2 arm spans, carved from translucent alabaster. Water within lies motionless, perfect mirror. Step to its edge, kneel or stand, whichever invites ease. Peer down. At first you see only moon's reflection, crisp and unwavering. Then beneath that disk, your own face softens through translucent overlay. Half ghost, the effect is not eerie but tender, your features bathed in silvery comfort, edges dissolved so skin blends with moonlight, eyes gleam with pinpoints borrowed from distant suns. Lift a hand, touch fingertips to water. Ripples bloom outward in slow concentric rings. Watch as moon reflection fragments into trembling crescents. Your own image shatters to gentle shards. Stillness returns and reflection knits itself whole. In that cycle, fragment, quiver, reassemble. You witness a truth mind too, may ripple and still find composure. Cup water in palms, raise it. It feels cool, yet not cold, heavy yet weightless. Bring to forehead, dab lightly. Left temple, right temple, mid-brow, droplets, glide down cheeks, like tears made from glow. They are tears of release, but no sadness. Let them travel, settle at jawline, disappear, embers of affirmation. Return water to basin. As you straighten, small braziers atop railing posts flare to life, as if responding, coals within burned cerulean, not hot, but radiant enough that each coal pulses in rhythm, matching your calm heartbeat. Above each brazier, a single word forms in pale smoke, lingers, then drifts skyward. Say, another brazier answers, enough, another, loved, another, hell. Read them in silence. Let each drift through chest cavity, find its seat. Perhaps they nest inside rib arches. Perhaps they perch on collarbones, sending warmth across shoulders. Perhaps they settle behind sternum, where earlier the crystal's beam lit heart.
The drift chair.
Near railing's western arc stands a chaise carved from moon cedar, curved to fit reclined spine perfectly, cushions stuffed with eiderdown weight, clad in fabric dyed midnight indigo and embroidered with faint silver shooting stars. Sink onto chaise, feel lumbar supported, knees slightly raised, ankles crossing naturally. A blanket lies folded at foot, a weightless quilt sewn from gossamer layers of silk. Draw it over legs. It warms instantly as though imbued with mild summer dusk. Eyes lift to zenith. There the stars intensify, their flicker less frantic than day world's lights. Instead, each twinkle pulses like a breathing organism. Inhale, bright. Exhale, dim. Inhale, bright. You sink breath to one star. The brightest inhale while it brightens. Exhale as it fades. The pattern fosters trance. Breath, star, breath. Chest rising in cosmic tide. Eyelids fluttering heavy. Drift deeper with star affirmations. A cadence of words returns, but now internal lips recite them. They are half thought, half vibration. I travel safely. I rest completely. I glow softly. Repeat thrice. Each repetition halves. In volume till last is near inaudible hum felt in collarbones, rather than heard. Quiet fade. Vision narrows. Stars smear softly. Moon doubles then hazes. Black between points expands like velvet, closing curtains. You may feel yourself larger than chaise, larger than balcony, body perimeter melting into night's vastness. Feet become part of granite. Granite merges with outer walls. Walls merge with hillside. Hillside flows to valley. Valley to horizon. Horizon to sky. Until only breath marks distinction. And even breath seems planetary. Earth inhaling night, exhaling dawn somewhere else. At threshold of sleep, you sense final stimuli. Distant owl call, rising from garden far below. Rustle of bat wings near parapet. Maybe softest footstep of castle guardian. Resetting braziers. All fade quickly, replaced by silence wide as cosmos. If dreams bloom, they likely unfold in astral colors. Lavender meteors, silver meadows, slow comets, drawing ribbons across eyelid sky. If no dreams, consciousness hovers in black velvet blankness, which is its own generous cradle. The balcony's vigil, whether you sleep minutes or melt through hours. Moonglow balcony keeps vigil. Braziers maintain cerulean coals that never gutter. Railing vines rustle in wind. too gentle to wake. Moon completes arc, touching western horizon, painting silver onto quilt. Stars wheel on, and each wheel's turning drags a gauze of rest across mind. When faint, amethyst of dawn eventually lines eastern mountains. A single dove may perch on railing, low. That sound, or a change in air's chill, may stir you. If it does, you'll rise renewed, the night's serenity woven into marrow. If not, balcony permits longer slumber. Castle schedules need bend to no clock.
Moonlit quiet still rests upon the moonglow balcony, when a gentle throb of curiosity stirs behind your ribs, so soft it resembles the hush that follows a lullaby's last note. Somewhere below, at a level tucked between the tower you left and the grand halls you crossed earlier, a single chord hums low-sea velvet deep, vibrating stone and memory alike.
It is the castle's way of saying there is one more room of wonder before dream fully claims you.
Descent by Silver Spiral. Rise slowly from the chaise. The quilt slides away like mist parting for sunlight, and the chill of dawn-tilted air brushes skin, invigorating yet kind. At the balcony's rear, a narrow spiral stair waits, half hidden behind a screen of lattice silver. Each step is wrought iron inlaid with moonstone. Each bears a glyph etched so lightly you feel rather than see its curve beneath soles.
The stair curves downward, not steep but continuous, like the line of a soft lullaby. Every third step, a tiny light ignites in the riser you leave behind. Slender, aquamarine, fading as you descend, ensuring darkness never follows too close. Corridor velvet echo. The stair spills onto a corridor paneled in deep alder wood, the grain polished until it resembles flowing water, frozen mid-eddy. A plush runner of wine-dark velvet hushes footfalls, and along the wainscot candle niches cradle beeswax tapers whose flames lean but never drip.
Here the low C chord becomes clearer, no longer resonance through walls, but the sustained note of a bowed cello somewhere ahead, played pianissimo as though testing the hush rather than breaking it.
With every breath, the note gathers overtones. E then G building a chord so gentle it feels like a hand resting on the back of your heart. Threshold of resonance. At corridor's end, a walnut door stands slightly ajar. Instead of a handle, a bronze key rests already turned in its lock, awaiting only the pressure of your palm. A small placard reads in delicate script. Within these walls, sound kneels to sleep. Push, the door glides inward without creak, revealing dim amber glow beyond, entering the hidden music chamber. The chamber is oval, larger than any audience hall, yet somehow intimate. Its ceiling descending in soft arcs like layered petals of a gigantic bloom. Walls are clad in panels of alternating cherry and maple, fashioned into gentle waves that catch and cradle sound. At varying heights, honeycomb alcoves house instruments: harp, viola da gamba, bamboo flute, dulcimer, each slumbering upon velvet cradles, strings tuned, wood gleaming faintly under lantern light. No audience benches appear. Instead, great circular couches of suede ring the floor in concentric ovals, descending like terraces toward a shallow depression at center, where a single dais holds an elegant crystal harmonium. A solitary musician stands beside the harmonium, not flesh and bone, but a silhouette of light, pale gold edges outlining shoulders, arms, bowed head. When you enter, the figure inclines in greeting, the outline's edges rippling like candle flame caught in slow breeze. Then he, or perhaps she, lifts ghostly fingers and presses the harmonium keys. From within the crystal casing, a sigh of chord emerges. D major now, soft, humming, expanding through hull like warm water moving across fine sand. The sound meets walls and returns diffused, transformed into plush velvet that drapes itself across shoulders and spine. Choosing your resting circle, a gentle current of air guides you toward one of the couches. They are wider than beds, deep enough that feet will not touch floor. when you recline. Select one. Perhaps the second tier, where vantage grants perfect view of musician and ceiling above. Sink into suede. It yields until hips and shoulders float almost weightless. Then fibers knit to hold, offering effortless support. A silken head pillow slides into place, apparently of its own accord, settling beneath neck at perfect height. First movement, strings of quiet memory. The light musician raises an arm. Behind glass, the harmonium's reeds shimmer. Breath seems to pass through them, though you hear no human inhalation. A melody emerges, slow, ascending line carried by reed pipes, accompanied by faint pizzicato plucks from unseen harp. Each note lingers long enough for ears to taste its tone, then fades into next like colors bleeding on wet paper. The tune feels familiar despite never hearing it. Perhaps fragments echo lullabies once sung at bedside. Perhaps distant hymns, half remembered from candlelit services. With every melodic step, eyelids dip, heartbeats settle into the same ternary meter, loop-dub-dub-loop-dub. As music floats, the ceiling petals reveal constellations painted in faint luminous pigment. Orion, Cygnus, Draco, Carina rotating slowly as if domed roof itself turns. The stars correspond to notes. When melody touches D, Orion brightens. When glissando skims to A, Cygnus sparkles. Watching lights change is like observing musical notation written across the dome. The second movement, breath and flute. Music softens further. The silhouette crosses to a niche and lifts a bamboo flute, whose surface glows pale olive. Returning to days, it raises flute to lips that are merely strands of light. One long exhale. Perhaps your own becomes the instrument's voice, a sighing E-flat that drifts like fog rolling over still water at dawn. The note slides downward by slow quarter tones, a serpentine descent that guides your breath. Inhale during descent, exhale when note ascends. By a fifth. After 4 cycles, the flute line dovetails with heartbeat. So thoroughly pulse itself feels like part of melody. Finger pads loosen, jaw slackens, fingertips open, toes relax. Muscles in thoracic back, often tense from waking life, uncurl like unfurled parchment. Spine eases into deeper curve of couch. Music does not merely touch ears. Vibration seeps through suede, resonating up vertebrae, massaging each disc and wave of micro-warmth. Interlude. The whispering choir. At perimeter walls, panels shift. Hidden apertures reveal slender pipes, no thicker than reeds. From them, breath voices rise, wordless choir of alto and bass frequencies pitched so soft you hear them more in bones than ears. They weave, sustaining chords under flute improvisation, kite tails to flute's breeze. Consonance saturates air, every frequency chosen to soothe vagus nerve, coax parasympathetic calm. Your own vocal folds quiver in sympathy, wanting to hum. If you allow, a tiny tone might slip from throat, blending seamlessly with choir, safe, unheard, except by castle that honors any offering. Third movement, pulse of the heart drum. Light musician sets, flute aside, gestures gracefully to center pit. From beneath daisa, shallow drum rises, frame of yew, skin of translucent vellum. No mallet appears. Instead, musician's open palm hovers an inch above membrane. With each of your heartbeats, the vellum pulses, amplifying beat just enough that you feel bass thud echo beneath couch. Heart and drum sync gradually. First drum follows heart, then mixes. Soon heart follows drum at slower tempo. 70 beats per minute becomes 60, becomes 52, becomes 48. Safe, sustainable, restful.
During slower pulses, the ceiling constellations dim, walls darken to deep ember, couch feels warmer, hugging.
Coda fade into resonant silence. Light musician lowers hand. Drumbeat subsides. Last thud stretching into infinity before silence envelopes. Choir hushes. Ceiling stars extinguish. No light remains but silhouette, now dimming like coal ember. Air stands utterly motionless. Ears search. Find only inhalations whisper, and exhalations longer slide. Body floats. Not metaphor. Truly sense of levitation as couch supports vanish from perception. And then from some inner cosmos, final chord blooms. Voiceless, centerless, as if entire room has become single tuning fork, vibrating love. It sustains, grows softer. Softer falls beneath hearing, slips into cells, instructs DNA to rest, tells mitochondria to slow, whispers to every electron in your being. Still now, safe now. Silhouette flickers out. Chamber lights dim to starless velvet. Instrument alcoves fade into dark, yet none of this worries you. In darkness you hover, held by invisible arms of resonance. Perhaps you slip fully into sleep. Perhaps you hover in hypnagogic drift, seeing gentle shapes of light swirl behind eyelids, spirals, feathers, ripples of pond. If consciousness returns, should awareness float upward, minutes or years later, you may feel weight of cozy blanket across shoulders, placed by unseen caretaker angels of sound, flute, harp, drum, all slumber, only faint heartbeat, lull hums. Door to corridor still ajar, ready to guide outward to next realm. Starlight ballroom, where quiet dances with dust motes under chandeliers. Or remain, hidden music chamber will guard dreams, generating sub-audible lull chords until first dawn beam pierces slit high above. The last hush of the hidden music chamber still vibrates in your bones, an echo finer than silk, when a faint glimmer beckons from a side arch. It is neither lamp nor candle, but the pale sheen of moon-washed marble whispering. There is gentleness yet to gather before dream closes its petals. Leaving the lull of resonance, rise slowly from the swayed couch. The blanket slides away like low tide, withdrawing from sand, leaving only warmth as testimony it was ever there. Lanterns in distant alcoves remain extinguished. The room's darkness no longer needs you, and willingly releases its clasp. A narrow passage slopes upward, paved with flagstones that glow faintly, as though each remembers the touch of meteor embers. At the threshold stands an iron bracket, cradling an unlit taper. As you pass, the wick catches of its own accord, a flame no larger than a firefly, blue at its heart, orange at its halo. Then the bracket pivots, guiding the tiny light forward like a courteous usher. With every step the flame glides ahead, always 3 paces in front. Never closer, never further. Walls beside you pulse softly. Subaudible resonance from the music chamber fading by half-lives with each meter. In its place, you sense a new texture in the air, the delicate hush of velvet curtains awaiting the lift of orchestra bows. It's a vestibule of dancing dust. The passage opens into a round vestibule paneled in rose-winter cedar. There the little taper settles on a pedestal of alabaster, flares once and gutters out. Yet the room remains softly lit, for the ceiling is a frosted dome through which moonlight seeps like milk through linen. Hovering beneath the dome, thousands of dust motes drift in lazy spirals. They are no ordinary dust. Each speck glints silver, catching stray lumens and releasing them in pulses. Together they imitate a glitter ball hung in still air, an unreal starlight swirling at knee height, chest height, brow height. Breathe deep. When silvery drift is drawn into lungs, it dissolves instantly, leaving behind a cool clarity, as though the very air has rinsed your thoughts. Your eyelids flutter half closed, then reopen in slower cadence, viewing the dust dance as if through water. A velvet curtain, midnight blue, hangs in folds on the far wall, stitched with thread so dark it reflects nothing. A single tassel of silver cord invites your hand. Touching it, you feel the faintest hum, as if a distant overture tunes strings behind cloth. Pull gently, the curtain parts, and the hush of a vast chamber exhales. And first glimpse of the ballroom, you step over the threshold. Instantly the soles of your feet register polished marble smooth as frozen lake, yet warmed by hidden conduits of gentle heat. The ceiling arches far overhead, lost in darkness. High above, constellations, similar to those painted in the library, flicker here as real star pins, tiny crystal lamps hung on invisible wires, each lamp trembling with faint candlelight. Yet rather than blank walls, the ballroom's perimeter is a sweeping colonnade of mirrors 3 stories high. Between every pair of pillars, floor-to-ceiling glass repeats reality in infinite corridors, doubling starlight, doubling your lone figure, until space appears endless and intimate at once. Somewhere unseen, a small ensemble begins to play. It is not quite music, more the promise of it, a sustained violin D, a harp glissando that never quite finishes, a cello pizzicato, spaced in languid intervals. Each instrument emerges, brushes the silence, recedes, leaving behind suggestion rather than tune. The effect body sways though no rhythm commands it. Breath lengthens though no conductor signals. The marble beneath feels less solid, more like thick cloud holding your mass with patient buoyancy. Corridor of silk slippers. Left of entrance stands a low chest of burnished oak. Its lid creaks open by unseen escort, revealing rows of slippers sewn from softest silver brocade, soles lined with doeskin. They wait in graduated sizes, genderless. Select a pair. They mold instantly to feet, neither snug nor loose, but kiss light, reducing footfalls to whisper. Step out. Slippers slide rather than lift, each glide producing a barely audible shet, as though marble converses with silk. That faint friction resonates with hidden strings overhead, producing brief harmonic overtones, tiny chimes that vanish before the next glide. The invitation of shadow. Candle sconces high on columns ignite one by one, their flames elongated, leaning all in same direction, as if breeze moves along walls, though air at floor remains still. The flames cast elongated shadows across marble, not shadows of pillars, but silhouettes of dancers, couples in slow waltz, shapes elegant, featureless, backlit by nothing but candle logic. They drift to center, gather in silent ballet, yet you see no source bodies. They are echoes invented by light, memories of gala nights held centuries before. Approaching, you find that stepping into a shadow does not obscure it. Instead, it divides, flows around your ankles, joins again behind you, inviting you to partake. Extend an arm. One shadow places invisible palm to yours. A tingle of static travels up wrist, through elbow, nestling in shoulder like gentle paw. Music shifts, revealing true melody, an adagio of waltz slowed to half tempo, each measure padded with hush. Your body already sways, your spine lengthens, knees relax. The invisible partner's gentle guidance leads into simple turns. No complexity, only rocking steps left, right, forward, together, movement so mild it could be mistaken for advanced breathing. Mirrors multiply your dance into infinite teams, but each reflection moves half a beat behind, slow enough not to distract, fast enough to feel collective. Breath waltz technique guided, voice from ceiling, same genderless hush that guided breath on balcony, offers murmured cue. Step, inhale, glide, exhale.
You comply. Right foot glides. Ribs widen. Left foot meets. Breath slips out like silk thread. The cycle repeats. Heartbeat slows further.
aligning 3 beats to 1 measure. Shoulders drop, jaw slackens to half smile.
For the rain of petal stars, as waltz carries you around. Ballroom, ceiling constellations stir. Tiny crystal lamps, loosened from wires, drift downward like slow snow. Each lamp's light, dimming into faint glow. Upon landing, they shatter not with sound, but with bloom. Each breaks into hundreds of translucent petals, floating upward again, surrounding dancers in glitter haze. Petal stars contact skin like kisses of cool steam. Dissolve, leaving micro-tingle. With every petal dissolution, a stray worry disappears. Knot in neck, memory of earlier core. Guilt unhelpful, they vanish into faint spark that slides along marble, out to walls, consumed by restful dark. Mirrors become window.
Mid-dance. Perhaps you pause at one mirror panel. Instead of reflecting you, the glass fades to opalescent sheen, then clears to reveal a moonlit meadow, the very field where journey began. Tall silver grass ripples in silent breeze. In distance your earliest footsteps flash as momentary glimmer.
Another mirror shows cedar courtyard lantern still burning. A third shows library's divan bathed in faint lamp where book remains open to blank luminous page. Mirrors thus transform to portals, reminding every journey's landmarks, threading continuity through dream. Yet they emit no longing, each scene content, complete, requiring no revisit. You smile soft, step back, an image fades to mirror again. Solo turn an embrace of stillness. Shadow partner releases your hand, bows, dissolves into floor. Music's volume drops to single viola. Held sustain. You move to center dais, a circular inlay of selenite tile glowing from beneath. Kneel or sit cross-legged, surface warms. The slow viola fades, silence re-enters, this time thicker but luminous. Above, ceiling's final lamp dims, leaving only faint moonlight filtering through high clerestories. Yet, days beneath glows steadily, soft white aura surrounding seated form. In that glow, you sense heartbeat lighten, lungs lengthen, spine float. You are dancer, and dance concluded. Audience and applause delivered by silence, affirmations of quiet radiance. Voice returns, lower than whisper. You have walked fields, halls, towers, stairs. You have read words, written in light. You have listened to music of breath. Now let body remember weightlessness. Let mind remember unknowing. Let sleep dance on.
Each sentence lands like feather on still lake. Faint ring expanding outward across consciousness, smoothing ripples to glass.
Dimming to dreams. Eyelids close of their own volition. The final sensation slides through souls up calves, like warm current lifting ocean swimmer. Couch surfaces appear behind knees. The none present, unseen hands guide torso down, until marble becomes mattress, selenite tile pillows spine. Blanket of starlight petals lays across chest, weightless yet warming. In darkness behind eyelids, ballroom continues. Shadows still waltz, though unseen. Petals still swirl. But these images are dream now, no longer witnessed by waking self. Key bodily signs shift, exhalations lengthen, pulse dips to deep rest rhythm, muscles enter atonia, gentle paralysis, protecting sleeper during dream. Perhaps mind floats in paradoxical awareness, for breaths 1 or 2, observing descent, then slides under velvet sea. No more narration is needed, no more architecture, no more instruction. Starlight ballroom keeps sentinel watch, ready to dissolve itself. The moment REM waves roll, leaving dreamer safe in blank hush. The last hush of the hidden music chamber still vibrates in your bones, an echo finer than silk when a faint glimmer beckons from a side arch. It is neither lamp nor candle, but the pale sheen of moon-washed marble whispering. There is gentleness yet to gather before dream closes its petals, leaving the lull of resonance.
Rise slowly from the swayed couch.
The blanket slides away like low tide withdrawn from sand, leaving only warmth as testimony it was ever there. Lanterns in distant alcoves remain extinguished. The room's darkness no longer needs you, and willingly releases its clasp. A narrow passage slopes upward, paved with flagstones that glow faintly, as though each remembers the touch of meteor embers. At the threshold stands an iron bracket, cradling an unlit taper. As you pass, the wick catches of its own accord, a flame no larger than a firefly, blue at its heart, orange at its halo. Then the bracket pivots, guiding the tiny light forward like a courteous usher. With every step, the flame glides ahead, always 3 paces in front. Never closer, never farther. Walls beside you pulse softly, subaudible resonance from the music chamber fading by half-lives with each meter. In its place, you sense a new texture in the air, the delicate hush of velvet curtains awaiting the lift of orchestra bows.
Vestibule of dancing dust.
The passage opens into a round vestibule paneled in rose winter cedar. There, the little taper settles on a pedestal of alabaster, flares once, and gutters out. Yet the room remains softly lit, for the ceiling is a frosted dome through which moonlight seeps like milk through linen. Hovering beneath the dome, thousands of dust motes drift in lazy spirals. They are no ordinary dust. Each speck glints silver, catching stray lumens and releasing them in pulses. Together they imitate a glitter ball hung in still air, an unreal starlight swirling at knee height, chest height, brow height. Breathe deep. When silvery drift is drawn into lungs, it dissolves instantly, leaving behind a cool clarity, as though the very air has rinsed your thoughts. Your eyelids flutter half-closed, then reopen in slower cadence, viewing the dusts dance as if through water. A velvet curtain, midnight blue, hangs in folds on the far wall, stitched with thread so dark it reflects nothing. A single tassel of silver cord invites your hand. Touching it, you feel the faintest hum, as if a distant overture tunes strings behind cloth. Pull gently, the curtain parts, and the hush of a vast chamber exhales. First glimpse of the ballroom. You step over the threshold. Instantly the soles of your feet register polished marble, smooth as frozen lake, yet warmed by hidden conduits of gentle heat. The ceiling arches far overhead, lost in darkness. High above, constellations, similar to those painted in the library, flicker here as real star pins, tiny crystal lamps hung on invisible wires, each lamp trembling with faint candlelight. Yet, rather than blank walls, the ballroom's perimeter is a sweeping colonnade of mirrors, 3 stories high. Between every pair of pillars, floor-to-ceiling glass repeats reality in infinite corridors, doubling starlight, doubling your lone figure, until space appears endless and intimate at once. Somewhere unseen, a small ensemble begins to play. It is not quite music, more the promise of it. A sustained violin D, a harp glissando that never quite finishes, a cello pizzicato, spaced in languid intervals. Each instrument emerges, brushes the silence, recedes, leaving behind suggestion rather than tune. The effect, body sways, though no rhythm commands it. Breath lengthens, though no conductor. Signals. The marble beneath feels less solid, more like thick cloud holding your mass with patient buoyancy. Corridors, silk slippers. Left of entrance stands a low chest of burnished oak. Its lid creaks open by unseen escort, revealing rows of slippers sewn from softest silver brocade, soles lined with doe skin. They wait in graduated sizes, genderless. Select a pair. They mold instantly to feet, neither snug nor loose, but kiss light, reducing footfalls to whisper, step out. Slippers slide rather than lift, each glide producing a barely audible shift, as though marble converses with silk. That faint friction resonates with hidden strings overhead, producing brief harmonic overtones, tiny chimes that vanish before the next glide. The invitation of shadows. Candle sconces high on columns ignite. One by one, their flames elongated, leaning all in same direction, as if breeze moves along walls, though air at floor remains still. The flames cast elongated shadows across marble, not shadows of pillars, but silhouettes of dancers, couples in slow waltz, shapes elegant, featureless, backlit by nothing but candle logic. They drift to center, gather in silent ballet, yet you see no source bodies. They are echoes invented by light, memories of gala nights, held centuries before. Approaching, you find that stepping into a shadow does not obscure it. Instead, it divides, flows around your ankles, joins again behind you, inviting you to partake. Extend an arm. One shadow places invisible palm to yours. A tingle of static travels up wrist through elbow, nestling in shoulder like gentle paw. Music shifts, revealing true melody. An adagio of waltz slowed to half tempo, each measure padded with hush.
Your body already sways, your spine lengthens, knees relax. The invisible partner's gentle guidance leads into simple turns. No complexity, only rocking steps left, right, forward, together, movements so mild it could be mistaken for advanced breathing. Mirrors multiply your dance into infinite teams, but each reflection moves half a beat behind, slow enough not to distract, fast enough to feel collective.
Breath waltz technique. Guided.
Voice from ceiling. Same genderless hush that guided breath on balcony. Offers murmured cue.
Step. Inhale. Glide. Exhale.
You comply, right foot glides, ribs widen, left foot meets, breath slips out like silk thread. The cycle repeats. Heartbeat slows further, aligning 3 beats to 1 measure. Shoulders drop, jaw slackens to half smile.
Torina pedal stars as waltz carries you around ballroom. Ceiling constellations stir. Tiny crystal lamps loosen from wires, drift downward like slow snow, each lamp's light dimming into faint glow. Upon landing, they shatter not with sound, but with bloom. Each breaks into hundreds of translucent petals, floating upward again, surrounding dancers in glitter haze. Petal stars contact skin, like kisses of cool steam, dissolve, leaving micro-tingle. With every petal dissolution, a stray worry disappears. Knot in neck, memory of earlier core, guilt unhelpful. They vanish into faint spark that slides along marble out to walls. Consumed by restful dark, chimeras become window. Mid-dance, perhaps you pause at one mirror panel instead of reflecting you. The glass fades to opalescent sheen, then clears to reveal a moonlit meadow, the very field where journey began. Tall silver grass ripples in silent breeze. In distance, your earliest footsteps flash as momentary glimmer. Another mirror shows cedar courtyard lanterns still burning. A third shows library's divan bathed in faint lamp where book remains open to blank luminous page. Mirrors thus transform to portals, reminding every journey's landmarks, threading continuity through dream, yet they emit no longing. Each scene content, complete, requiring no revisit. You smile soft, step back, an image fades to mirror again. Solo turn in embrace of stillness. Shadow partner releases your hand, bows, dissolves into floor. Music's volume drops to single viola held sustain. You move to center dais, a circular inlay of selenite tile, glowing from beneath. Kneel or sit, cross-legged surface warms. The slow viola fades. Silence re-enters, this time thicker but luminous. Above, ceiling's final lamp dims, leaving only faint moonlight filtering through high clerestories. Yet days beneath glow steadily, soft white aura surrounding seated form. In that glow you sense heartbeat lighten, lungs lengthen, spine float. You are dancer, and dance concluded, audience in applause delivered by silence. Affirmations of quiet radiance. Voice returns, lower than whisper. You have walked fields, halls, towers, stairs. You have heard words written in light.
You have listened to music of breath.
Now let body remember weightlessness. Let mind remember unknowing. Let sleep dance on. Each sentence lands like feather on still lake. Faint ring expanding outward across consciousness. Smoothing ripples to glass. Dimming to dreams. Eyelids close of their own volition. A final sensation slides through souls. Up calves, like warm current lifting ocean swimmer. Couch surfaces appear behind knees. Though none present, unseen hands guide torso down until marble becomes mattress. Selenite tile pillows spine. Blanket of starlight petals lays across chest. Weightless yet warming. In darkness behind eyelids. Ballroom continues. Shadows still waltz, though unseen. Petals still swirl. But these images are dream now, no longer witnessed by waking self. Key bodily signs shift. Exhalations lengthen. Pulse dips to deep rest rhythm. Muscles enter atonia. Gentle paralysis protecting sleeper during dream. Perhaps mind floats in paradoxical awareness for breaths 1 or 2, observing descent, then slides under velvet sea.
No more narration is needed. No more architecture. No more instruction. Starlight Ballroom keeps sentinel watch, ready to dissolve itself the moment Ram waves roll, leaving dreamer safe in blank hush.
Segment 9 ends in that velvet hush, offering silence, broader than galaxies, kindness older than language, space where stars may write stories directly on dreaming heart, until dawn's first pale violin note lifts lids in gentle reprise. You said? Mizamo nadeo brojo, ChatGPT said. Segment 10. Quiet reflection hall. 30,000 characters, 5,000 slow-paced, dream-friendly words. A hush like the downstroke of a giant wing settles over the starlight ballroom as its crystal lamps fade to ghost pearl. Somewhere in the vanishing distance, the final echo of a viola sighs, then drifts apart like fog caught by dawn. In that softened hush, another, subtler current of calm beckons, neither sound nor scent, but a felt persuasion, as if polished stone itself is inviting you onward. You let the invitation guide your feet, leaving the stardust behind. Slip from the glowing selenite days. The silver brocade slippers you wear barely whisper across the marble. Still, each step releases a tiny pulse of warmth that rises through arches, calves, knees, coaxing joints looser than they have been in many waking months. A curtained archway lies opposite the entrance you first used. Its velvet so dark it seems to drink starlight. Draw the curtain aside. Coolness breathes from the corridor beyond, brisk as water that has never known sunlight. Inside, the floor changes to warm teak planks, oiled to a mellow glow. Recessed alcoves cradle squat lanterns of green onyx. Their flames burn leaf gold, casting gentle scalloped shadows up curved walls. With every third lantern a chime sounds. Single note, clear, quiet, as though acknowledging your passing. It is the corridor's way of keeping you company without disturbing thought. 2. Corridor of unspoken questions. Along these walls hang slim scrolls, sealed with ribbons of dove-gray silk. None bear titles. Instead, each displays a single embossed glyph, curves and dots that suggest punctuation more than letters. They are silent questions. The castle long ago wrote for traveler. Why do worries wear shoes heavier than joy? Which moments deserve to be carried into mourning? What would stillness say if given words? You need not open any scroll, their presence alone reminds the mind of its gentle capacity for wonder. As you pass, ribbons flutter the faintest inch, as if nodding approval that you walk on. Threshold of reflection, the T corridor ends at a circular landing. Paved in alabaster, set into the floor. An 8-point compass of black granite points not to cardinal directions, but to inward ones. Heart, breath, root, crown, dream, memory, silence, light. Where north might be, the inlay reads. Heart, your footsteps pause upon that point, naturally, unplanned.
Directly ahead rises an oaken door, inlaid with hexagonal mirrors, no larger than coins. These tiny discs capture lantern glow and multiply it into constellations that shimmer across the wood like hopeful fireflies. A handle of brushed brass, shaped like a droplet mid-fall, awaits your grasp. When fingers close around it, pulse slows another notch. Temperature around palm feels 1 degree warmer, as though handle has greeted a friend.
You press. The door swings without resistance, revealing darkness so soft it seems woven from suede. 4. The hall unveils itself. Step inside, and the door eases shut behind you with the sigh of distant surf. At first, vision meets only darkness. Then, ever so slowly, faint silver lines trace themselves overhead. Arches of a vast ribbed vault, followed by ghost-pale rectangles on the floor, each glowing softly as your weight settles upon them. These glowing rectangles are quiet pools of light, spaced like stepping stones across a room, the size of a cathedral, yet empty of echo. Ceiling arches fade upward until swallowed by velvet, dark but feel benevolent, rather than imposing, as though night itself has stooped to shelter you. 5. Light begins to breathe, somewhere unseen. A lamp inhales its invisible wick, brightens, then dims, then brightens again. A second wick joins, then a third, until a rhythm forms, a collective breathing of light, cycling every 12 seconds. With each luminous inhale, a new portion of the hall reveals itself. Polished limestone floor, veined with rose quartz, slender marble columns, whose capitals blossom into carved lotus petals. At the room's perimeter, low benches cushioned in cloud gray felt. Most striking are the walls. They are clad not in stone, but in sheets of perfectly clear crystal mirror smooth, yet not reflective. Instead, they display what appears to be an endless expanse of night sea, lit by distant moon. Gentle waves roll toward you in slow motion, hush, crest with silver foam, then melt back into ink. There is no sound, only the visual memory of water. Watching it slows heartbeats further, aligning them with the slow cadence of imaginary surf. 6. The invitation to sit. A single bench sits beneath the tallest arch. Its seat is long enough to recline, its back angled like a hillside perfect for stargazing. You drift toward it, guided by intuition more than sight. Palms press felt cushion. It is cool first, then warms. Thighs, calves, shoulders meet softness. Spine lengthens. Head rests. Align arms along sides. Palms open skyward. Fingers gently curled. Breath spills out in a low, satisfied hum. Above, the vaulted darkness takes shape. Hidden pinpoints glimmer. Were they there moments ago? Perhaps not. Perhaps the castle shows them only to one sufficiently still. They organize into constellation-like patterns, but none correspond to earthly skies. Each arrangement resembles inner landscapes, a spiral galaxy of compassion, a 3-petaled bloom of courage, a gentle swirl labeled forgiveness in the sub-language of feeling. When eyelids drift half-mast, the points smear into luminous strings that wave like silk banners on slow wind. 7. The murmur of inner mirrors from leftmost wall. The ocean mirror brightens incrementally. The surface water's reflection shifts, then morphs, and suddenly you see not waves but a faint outline of your own posture, softened, radiant, almost transparent, floating on that moonlit sea. The image blurs, becomes younger, an earlier version of self kneeling at shoreline drawing shapes in sand. Another moment, an image ages gracefully, showing you older, serene, gazing back with a smile that says all shall be gentle. No emotion spikes. Scenes simply unfold, each accompanied by warm hush and the inhale-exhale glow overhead. Thoughts try to label, but Hull's hush dissolves labels before they fully form. Agate, guided whisper, threefold exhale. A hush voice, softer than any before, emerges from right ear, then drifts across scalp to left. Breathe in peaceful sea.
Inhale steadily, imagining salt, cool air cleansing lungs.
Hold gentle moon. Pause. Let breath rest. Luminous inside ribcage. Exhale mirrored, calm. Release. Picture tightenings in mind, pooling out, rippling across pictured water until surface steadies, glass smooth. Repeat thrice. After third cycle, lungs find their own slower tempo. Spine sinks another grain deeper into cushion. Toes uncurl, proud of nothing but softness.
The lamp formation.
Roll floor lamps flares in cascading glow, each time revealing a single word written across the floor by light itself, visible only for heartbeat before fading.
Rest, release, renew. With each word, muscles in order respond. Trapezius slackens, diaphragm loosens, hip flexors melt, heel tendons release tension long, holding stance. Mouth opens slightly, tongue settles broad, even tiny muscles gripping eyelids ease their patrol. 10. The echo bowl, under the bench. You notice a shallow ceramic bowl. When fingertips brush edge, bowl hums quietly. Tone beneath hearing threshold felt in wrist bones. Lift it, weight is featherlight. Inside rests clear water, luminous as liquid starlight. Bring bowl to chest height, gaze into it. Stars swirl in miniature galaxy, slow tumble of shimmering dots. A natural sigh escapes lips at that vibration. One star detaches, floats upward, hovers next to brow. It flickers thrice, then dissolves into invisible warmth that spreads across forehead, erasing frown lines you never noticed you wore. Set bowl on floor. The hum persists, resonating now through marble, through bench, through spine, a lull frequency, so low it sings lullaby straight to bone marrow. 11. Transition toward drift. The overhead lights resume slow fade, each cycle longer than prior. 12 seconds bright, 12 dim, then 15 bright, 15 dim. Eventually bright phases are so faint, you perceive only a gentle glow, like the inside of a seashell held to lamplight. Mirrored walls, dim, ocean, back into glass transparency. Columns dissolve into silhouettes. All becomes gradient of charcoal to pearl. Breath makes smallest sound. Hush in, hush out, hush in. Perceptance of sleep. You might still feel body, but edges blur. Bench cushioning merges with ribcage, then with ocean memory, then with black velvet sky, until only awareness of breathing remains. Breathing itself a whisper of castle air through corridors of dream. Hush voice returns one last time. Neither instruction nor story, just lull. Silence is safe here. Darkness is gentle. Sleep is welcome. Dream when ready. The hush inside the quiet reflection hall. lies over you like a moth wing quilt. Weightless, velvety, faintly luminous. Yet even quilts of silence know when to loosen, to let a deeper softness in. Somewhere beyond the crystal walls, beyond mirrored ocean, lotus capitals, pulse lamps ebbing in 12-second tides. A new murmur calls. It is not music, not voice, not wind. It is the first cool sigh of distant rain. A silver thread of curiosity tugs just behind the breastbone. You rise, if rising is the right word, for body floats as though memory of gravity has hushed felt cushions. Release your form with a sleepy hush. Feet find floor-light rectangles that brighten a last time to guide a gentle exit. Corridor of dimly lit stars. The oak-mirrored door opens of its own accord. Beyond waits a narrow corridor floored in midnight basalt. Overhead, pinhole perforations pierce the stone ceiling in constellations unknown to earthly charts. Each pinhole leaks a single silver photon, together painting a floating galaxy above your path. The basalt itself is faintly warm, but between each stone flows a thin rill of cooler air, like rivulets of night ocean tempering summer sand. Step, inhale, soul, absorb warmth. Step, exhale. A hush of coolness kisses ankles. The rhythm synchronizes with heartbeat. Loop warmth, dub coolness, until the difference dissolves, and only balanced plenty remains. At corridor's end, an obsidian arch reveals a spiral stair, descending into indigo dark. An iron handrail glimmers dimly, loops downward like a ribbon of starlight, hammered into metal. Near the top of the rail hangs a plaque of beaten tin. Follow the rain echo to the cradle of night.
Your palm closes around iron. It is room temperature at first touch. By third step, metal chills pleasantly, gathering dew that beads beneath fingertips, a promise of showers below.
Descent through thunder stillness. The spiral stair is wide, its risers shallow. Each tread bears a line of mother-of-pearl inlay, tracing gentle arcs of crescent moons. As you step upon a crescent, a softly voiced chime, minor seventh, sounds then fades. Crescents glide beneath feet, waning, new waxing, full, repeating the eternal cycle. With each rotation the air grows cooler, weightier, the humidity rising until nostrils sense petrichor, the scent of soil receiving rain. Halfway down you pause. Somewhere beneath, rain strikes stone, soft, not insistent, each droplet, a distant finger tapping a skin drum. Lightning does not flash, thunder does not roar. This is midnight rain, content to fall unheard, except by those who listen. Continue. By the time you count your 40th step, if you were counting, perhaps you lost track. The chime notes have grown so faint, they live only in bone. The handrail, now slick with condensation, guides without slip. The spiral uncoils into diffuse light. 3. The vault of quiet drizzle. The stair ends upon a broad landing. A vaulted chamber stretches forward, roof lost in shadow, lit only by luminous vapor drifting like low auroras. Across the vaulted ceiling, channels cut through stone. Along these channels, water flows in thin ribbons from unseen reservoirs, forming delicate waterfalls that descend 30, perhaps 40 feet before splashing onto polished slate. The sound is exquisite. Not rainfall on rooftops, nor forest deluge, but curtain rain that has learned the etiquette of hush, each stream arriving in overlapping whispers, weaving patterns of white noise lace. The ear cannot isolate one droplet. Mind captures whole fabric, and in that fabric finds instant ease. Hexagonal stone islands emerge from slate floor, each topped with moss-soft cushions, shaped like lily pads. Between islands run shallow runnels where rainfall gathers into rills, winding toward a central pool faintly glowing with bioluminescence. You step onto first island. Moss yields under sole, springs back unbruised. The next leap is small. Slippers absorb no water, for runnels are scarcely an inch deep. The soft splashes as feet cross them sound like syllables of comfort. Pask, hush. Overhead, one waterfall thickens momentarily. Droplets scatter into a drifting mist that kisses forehead, eyelids, lips. The droplets are cool but not cold. They smell of mountain cedar and quartz dust. For centering beside luminous pool.
Arrive at the pool, roughly 10 feet across, rimmed with basalt, water within glows aquamarine, lit from beneath by unknown lamps or creatures. Rain falling into pool creates concentric ripples, each ring catching light, sending quivering ribbons across basalt roof.
A curved settee, carved from driftwood, arcs half around the pool. It is draped in blankets, woven of sea silk fibers, spun from calm seashell threads. Light as cloud, warm as flannel. Recline. The wood is smooth, shaped to human curve. No joint presses, no edge jabs. Head comes to rest on cushion of star down. Arms set along flannel, legs lengthen, heels slide to rest against plush foot bolster. A new tone glides through air, low, endless, like a brass bowl gently rubbed, halfway between note and whisper. The tower earlier spoke to bone. This note speaks to fluid blood, lymph, cerebrospinal sea, inviting waves to slow. Rain keeps falling. Sometimes droplets glance off basalt with patter. Sometimes whole sheets of water slide along channels, hush like brush on snare drum. Each cascade seems timed to breath, though breath now too slow to measure. 5 guided imagery cosmic fade, eyes half open, fix on pool. Glow reflecting in ceiling droplets. Upside down galaxies rising, then vanishing before reaching floor. A hush voice, low as first thunder rumble beyond hills. Surface it, watch light become smaller, smaller, until light is a point, and the point is heart, and heart is sky. Visual field tunnels, gently pool seems further, ceiling further still. Only chest rises, falls. On each rise, the glow under ribs brightens a fraction. On each fall, it diminishes, leaving after image against inner eyelid. Now let glow drift upward, until it finds the clouds of mind. Picture that. A silver spark, leaving ribcage, floating through throat, behind brow, into open night, above scalp. There it expands, diffuses, becomes nebula of soft luminescence. Thoughts, if any remain, orbital dust, swirling slow within this nebula. They neither collide nor press, only drift. 6, brain breath synchrony. The hush voice counts. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Rain intensifies streams. Join, hiss, hold, 2. Water sheet, steady, constant hush. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Streams then separate into droplets once more. The pattern repeats 3, 4, perhaps 6 cycles, until inhale, exhale, overshadow. Counting, only rain leads. Gradually voice withdraws. Rain remains. Conductor, body obeys cues. Invisible, each time rainfall surges. Chest inflates, each time rainfall scatters. Air slips out. Eventually rainfall becomes constant shimmer. Breathing adopts unmeasured tide.
7. Dissolving boundaries.
With senses tuned to rainfall blur. Edges of body blur likewise. Outline of shoulder diffuses into blanket. Blanket fades into bench. Bench into floor. Floor into pool light. Pool light into vault gloom. Only one boundary persists. Awareness and rest. Even that boundary fogs. If eyelids part, they see only pastel blurs, as though hall has drowned in luminous fog. If ears strain, they hear only rainfall, low note, an occasional harmonic flicker, like distant star, pinging empty sky. Skin feels only the microdrum of droplets on cheeks, as mist wanders from nearest cascade. 8. Final affirmation. In that near-dream coast, a final set of murmur words drift through like birch leaves on dark pond. Nothing left to do, nothing left to be. Only breath.
Only rain.
Sleep. Travel the silver path, each line shorter, softer. Until last is silence shaped like a sentence. 9. Merge with rain dream. Perhaps you glide over threshold into Ram, where dream scripts appear written in water on black slate, rewriting themselves faster than reading. Perhaps you sink into deep delta where no images roam, only pulses of colorless calm. The cosmic fade in gentle rain chamber is unconcerned. Its purpose is served, mind quieted, muscles slack, heart freed into twilight rhythm.
Rain will fall for hours, fed by cisterns collecting moon water on tower roofs. When dawn's first amber line touches horizon, rainfall eases to drip, then mist, then dryness. Vault lights will brighten fractionally to candle glow, enough to guide waking feet back to the spiral, should waking arrive. Or perhaps consciousness will surface elsewhere, in garden, library, balcony, threading a new story out of dream remainder.
Moonwater rain has wrapped you in its hush for uncounted breaths when you notice something subtle. The droplets no longer strike slate. Instead, they seem to hover just before meeting stone, turning to mist that drifts across your cheeks like cool silk. A slow, silvery dimming rolls through the vault. The glow beneath the pool softens from aquamarine to palace pearl, then to a ghost of light, then nothing at all. For a moment, there is darkness. Absolute, comforting. Yet even darkness breathes, and with each of its long inhales, the very air begins to pulse with the slow frequency of your heart. It is as though castle and body have fused into one organism. The walls expand when lungs fill. The invisible ceiling settles when lungs empty. When the weightless meadow, somewhere inside that shared breath, a new scene opens, unannounced. You stand, no, you float, above the moonlit meadow where your journey began, but this time there is no need to walk. The silver grass bends of its own accord. The field itself carries you like a river of down. The distant silhouette of Aveloria shimmers, then dissolves into stardust, rising to join constellations that now arc directly above your brow. Each star you passed, lantern at gate, crystal and tower, flute note in hidden chamber, reappears as a point of light on that celestial arc. They connect into a gentle spiral, whose center rests exactly where you are. Two vanishing boundaries. Breath slows until it becomes impossible to tell where inhale begins, where exhale ends. Your skin loses its edge. Cool air passes through like breeze through lace. Veins glow faintly, then fade. Bones hum like struck tuning forks, then quiet. Organs float, then dissolve into spark motes that drift upward to join the spiral above. There is no gravity, only drifting. There is no body, only slow turning stars. Hush voice returns. This time, not beside ear, not inside skull, but everywhere at once. Vast and kind. No more story. No more names. Only rest.
On the final syllable, even voice unthreads into silence.
3. The final 3 breaths. Castle, field, body, stars. Everything shares 3 closing breaths. First breath. Air enters as silver mist. It condenses into countless seeds of calm that scatter through what was once your body, settling wherever tiniest tensions hide. Second breath. Those seeds sprout into vines of hush, winding gently around every last thought, stilling them with tender green coils. Third breath. Vines blossom into pure night flowers, whose petals open and dissolve in the same instant, leaving behind only fragrance, an aroma of cedar, rain, and something older than memory. Fragrance drifts outward, fills the space where mind once kept its library of words. Shelves vanish, books melt into lilac-scented vapor, pages unwrite themselves, turning to pristine nothingness.
Full perpetual ambient drift.
Left behind is an endless, gentle rainfall, soft, steady, unchanging, mixed with the faintest trill of a night bird, somewhere beyond perception. The sound forms a single ribbon of noise that will neither swell nor fade for the remainder of the hour. It is a safe room for dreams. No narration will return. No music will bloom. Nothing will ask your attention. You may drift into Rimmel, drift into dreamless Delta, drift beyond both into blank, starless peace. Wherever you go, rain will shield, bird will guard, silence will hold, and when dawn's first pale gold reaches the other side of islets, whether soon or long from now, you will surface light, refreshed, carrying in marrow the memory of an enchanted castle, built from hush, lanterns, and moonlit wonder. But for now, there is nothing to do, nothing to hear, nothing to hold, only the endless hush of gentle sleep stories carrying you beyond words, into dream.